Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Do you have any regrets as you look back?
We make a lot of mistakes. You learn from them. You benefit from them. But how lucky I am to be married to the person I am, to have the children we have, to be in the country that we have, to have the opportunities. And I don't think you live your life of regrets. You just try to learn and benefit from it and be thankful every day.
Breaking ball pulled on the ground to third. That's a fair ball. Extra base is coming. Moyer around third, going to score. And being held at third is Overbeek. It's another RBI double for Dylan Carey, inching ever closer on the totals list.
Coming way out top, Beaumont takes the ball. High lob, caught by Noyan, just outside the top of the key. Flips the ball on the deep left side. Beaumont drives in, runs over Kellen Hink, her 31st charge taken this year. A school record. Throw the bones. What a play defensively by Kellen Hink.
Save! My goodness.
Thank you very much, and Sean Miller has seen it up into Muti. Oh, Ernest Uday stayed ready.
That is a heck of a play by Uday. Heck of a play.
Page and Sherabino back out there for the final minute for Northwestern. Martinelli, tough shot. But he makes tough shots look so easy. Drop off to Greer. Here's Swartz straight away. Great cans it. That's what they do. Graves spins all the way to the basket. 14 points, 12 assists for Nick Graves tonight. Green with 2 to shoot. Swartz deep contested three. Why not?
Good morning. Welcome in to Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by NextGen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Excuse me. What's up, DB? Hello. Help me. Hello.
Rhonda?
In my chest here.
Help me, Rhonda.
No, I don't know who Rhonda is.
Well, speaking of which, they got South Dakota State today.
Oh, yeah, Ravel.
Yeah. I think they're at bowling. That's at home. That's at the house.
There you go. It's supposed to be nice today. I think it's like 60 today.
Oh, shoot. Is that tanning weather for you?
Well, I don't know if you know this. No, I tan a little bit.
It's not funny.
What's not funny?
I don't know if you know this. I sent Coach Sikora a picture of that video of me breaking up that pulled pork.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I'm not sleeveless, obviously, but my sleeves are probably rolled up, but I have gloves on, right?
Yeah, you've got the rubber gloves on.
So he goes,
you got your Dexter gloves on?
Zip it.
What?
He goes, whose arms are those? And I go, those are mine. Why? And he goes, well, I've never seen them before, considering you act like you'll lose them when the sun comes out. And I was like, oh, funny man. Am I out of... All right, so do you want me to do this already? I just want to make sure Tasha knows like what my sight line is. I want you guys to know something. I know you think I'm crazy and I have OC or ADHD and I can't sit still. And all those things might be true.
Come on, man.
But I want you to know that why I know you can't look through all the black people. Knock it off.
I know what you're doing. Roster.
No, get off of that page. Okay. It's no fun. So I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Okay. I got one of them, and he doesn't even look like that anymore. So I have to get credit there.
Yeah. Okay. Who's this guy?
That's EJ Barthel.
Okay. Well, who's this guy?
I don't know.
How do you not know any black players? Well, you didn't know Carter Nelson.
I knew TJ Lateef. You didn't ask me yesterday.
Well, that was too easy.
Oh, so
you don't know who this is?
Not off site. I do not know.
He said off site, on site. No. So I want you guys to know something. Sure, I may have some special traits, but I do this to gain distance because I feel like here with these swivel chairs, I can face you.
Sure.
So, but I told you, I don't want to be like this.
You don't want to be like,
hey, man,
up?
How we doing?
You don't be like a European close stalker.
How are my nose hairs? Does this make you uncomfortable? So
fine.
I gain depth.
Yeah.
Because I like to see you.
You're like a cornerback trying to, backpedal a little bit. You're like, I get depth here.
And sometimes, like, I'll do this because sometimes you just like got to let them hang. It's just like I want to stand.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Let what hang?
My length.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Ravi.
I don't know if you needed your clothes to make sure they didn't get wrinkled or.
Oh yeah. Guess what size this is?
That is
I'll give you money.
That belongs to Coach Brett Williams.
No, he gave it to me, but yes.
Well, no, but that's
yes.
It was his because it's his size.
Yes.
We're north of 3. I know that. I'm trying to decide between a 4 or I'm gonna say it's a 4XL.
That's a 4.
Let's go.
Very good for you.
Nailed it.
So I just wanted to explain that to Sasha. I think I just chalk it up to social etiquette. My dad used to always say, make eye contact. Stop looking at all the black people.
Wow, I'm looking at the white people too.
No, close this.
You can't close my laptop. We're doing a show.
Who is this?
All right, I haven't got.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I didn't see it
because you already said you didn't know.
I don't know. The chat is telling me it's Williams Winery.
It is Winery. It's Winery. Can we say his name correctly? Stop saying Winery.
At least I'm getting it right on the front end. A lot of people are still
saying in Winery. Yeah.
A lot of people are still throwing the N in there. That's the first letter of his name. It's March. I'm fine.
With the hard RI.
Winery.
Knock it off.
Sorry, Winery. Williams Winery.
Yes.
No, I appreciate. I want to get people's names right. When I don't, I feel bad about it. So Williams Winery.
All right.
And I got EJ Barthel correct.
Very much.
That counts because he doesn't look anything like that anymore.
No, he has hair on his face.
The beard.
He has a ton of hair on his face.
Changes his appearance as much as it changes mine, probably.
Ooh, don't do that.
I'm not going to. I'm just saying.
I would be terrified. I played with a guy and I told him not to shave once, and he did, and it.
Who was it?
Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
And Clinton let him have it mercilessly.
I'm just saying there's certain face shapes you want to keep the facial hair.
Yes.
And I'm definitely one of them.
Yes.
It's fine.
What's wrong with me using social etiquette, TK?
No, I appreciate the social etiquette. It's good,
why can't I have
it's polite.
Traumatized. No, I'm not traumatized. I have really not gone there since he beat it into submission.
Yeah.
I still am a little about that.
Husker P says, Sands laying down. Do what you want, DB.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Freedom of movement. You're a big freedom of movement guy.
Yeah, mostly in basketball, but you can do whatever you want. As long as we
you want me in constraints?
No, nope. As long as we zoom out enough so that we can see you through your movement, I'm cool.
Well, we're down some producers, so are we still? So is Sasha the single person now?
She's the one switching the cameras. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on single cam duty.
So why don't we just test her? Just go volleyball, ping it back and forth and see if she can go.
If we do that, she'd probably just keep it on the wide cam.
This?
If I had to guess.
Oh, wide.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Whoa. God, are you there?
It's me, Sasha.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay. It's kind of intimidating.
It was a very intense version of Urkel.
Who talks like that?
Did I do that?
Yeah, let's not do that. What? Okay. I guess we're not going to do that. It's fine.
All right.
Whoa, that was different. Oh, that's Shane.
I was like, that's Shane playing.
How does he have so many of her drops?
It's fine.
That's my favorite because I used to say that all the time.
even with the pause.
I'd have to reconcile with you.
Yeah. You'd be like, it's, and then you'd be like, I don't want to fight it. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, they're all worse.
Well, can I see that letter, please?
Yeah.
I'd like to read this.
This is from Dave.
How do you know that he wanted you to put him on blast?
I don't know.
I just want to know what part of our stream. Don't look at me. This is called white balance.
No, that's what it's called when Austin hosts.
I'm more of a sausage guy, though.
What a wackadoodle! How do you know he wanted you to put him out there? I like his signature, by the way.
I figure once you send something to us, it's kind of public consumption.
I want to know if our stream is kind of rocking with this, because DJ is kind of a nice guy.
Oh, he's a very nice guy. Yeah.
So he says, "I'm gifting this to you because I see a lot of me in you. You're passionate, sarcastic, and have no joke filter. I miss my days on the air, but you and DB remind me of those days every morning. Keep up the good work." I have a couple of bones to pick.
Well, he also sent a gift.
I have a couple of bones to pick. I know your favorite.
I know.
Do people know how you gush over Pistol?
I don't know if they do. And so I don't know if
I'm very disappointed in you last night because I sent you some Pistol Pete.
Did you?
No, it was Magic Johnson, but that's exactly how Pistol Pete played.
No, because Pistol Pete could shoot. So this is
okay.
I'm not wrong.
I am not gonna be here for Magic Johnson slander. Oh, so you can all the way miss me with that. We're not doing that.
So here
we are not. Listen, no, because I don't know if you saw All Hail to AIDS Olympics in the All-Star game. He could shoot the three. It was HIV. I'm sorry.
I was to say, has never progressed to full-blown AIDS.
Magically.
Johnsonly.
Wow. We're not going to get on the Magic Johnson thing. Magic Johnson was a fine scorer and could get buckets anytime he wanted to.
Didn't say anything about scoring.
Could miss
I said
me
shooting.
with the shooting.
I didn't say anything about scoring. I said
you mean
shooting.
Jump shooting?
Yes.
Because he sure could score.
I said nothing about scoring. I said shooting.
So back to the whole passionate thing. I'd like to insert stubborn.
Well, it's
Stream you with me? They're not going to rock with me because
I'm rocking with you.
Thank you.
It depends on the filter through which you view things.
Well, he says sarcastic. I say condescending prick face. Is that the same?
I think sarcastic is appropriate.
He's a lot nicer than me.
Yeah, he sent this Pistol Pete Maravich.
I thought that's
Atlanta
pretty
Hawks
nice.
card.
Like
It's really nice.
when you show. So you know how I know it meant something to you?
What is that?
Because you showed me.
Yeah.
Like out of the clear blue, I'm like, what is this? And then I had to read it. That's
This
very
is
kind.
1968, I believe, if I can read this correctly.
Smokes. Do you want to put your telescopes on?
Well,
I mean, not that I can talk.
How's
but you're
I know,
giving
I
me
look
the
bad.
willies.
It looks bad. Well, it's hard to tell because the font color on the background, I'm having a hard time.
The
At
orange
the very bottom there.
Yeah. So did you need a little encouragement?
I did yesterday.
You just never know, right?
I was having a bad day yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you.
All right. See, when you sent that to me, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I was having a bad.
I feel like I better be nice.
No, you don't have to. I understand.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I was having a bad day yesterday. It was.
We good?
I'm good now. Yeah. So I started off rough. Came in. Blood sugar was low as we're starting the show.
So I did not comment on it.
Yeah.
But the juice was very low.
Yeah. When it doesn't happen as the show's starting. And
Yeah,
that's
but
rough.
that's the first time your thing had made the weird noises.
Yeah. So that
wasn't the beep, it was the little it, and I was like, that one's different.
Yeah, when it starts making like extra, like when the thing starts being extra, we know we got some issues.
And I asked you if you were sleepy, and you're like, no, I'm good. I knew something was wrong.
I mean, what am I supposed to say? Just be like, well, yeah.
You were a little less prickish.
So and then I had an eye appointment.
You can have your nice notebook.
Thank you. I had an eye appointment yesterday, and I had to get an injection, which sucks.
Where do they put it?
In my eyeball.
No, we're not.
I'm just that you asked for.
Yep.
So it sucks. I'm not going to get into details, but it sucks, and it basically ruins the whole day.
Yeah, we're gonna. Fast forward to that.
So like it was not a good day yesterday, and so it was very nice to receive such a. And I don't know if Dave knows my affinity for Pete Maravich or not.
He has to. That card was a great pull.
It was incredible pull. If he doesn't, it's just like one of the.
I think most anybody that's been with us for or you for a while,
yeah,
like you, that's you gush.
Yeah, Pistol Pete's like my guy. I love that dude.
Yeah. So I felt like the Magic Johnson thing would cheer you up, but then you had to come with your prickish tales. No, Magic Johnson could cute.
Wouldn't have been the. I will say I do see the similarities in like the ball handling and passing and a lot of them.
Those clips were sweet. Those were like real games.
Yeah. No, I don't have.
Magic was.
I don't have a. I'm not a Magic Johnson hater. That's just not the comp I would have made to their entire games. That's my only. There are a lot of similarities though in the point guard portions of it.
I'm not interested in your particulars.
Well, I like to get down into the weeds a little bit.
Well, what would a sound effect sound like of Shane being held against his will? No, stop.
Don't.
Not there. Like, what does that sound like, Juan? It's kind of weird.
Oh no!
I know. Wow. It's disturbing.
I just make it's just, hey, don't.
Oh no!
I know. Shane dropped 7 expletives already.
I
And
know.
It was, what did Sasha? It was 656? 656, and Shane was dropping expletives.
It was
Yeah, he said a big old D word.
And that's not Damon. So don't get any ideas.
Damon.
It was
Jerk face.
dumb.
There you go. Shane, are you getting enough sleep? Because I can teach you how to function without sleep.
Well, I know you could.
You may not produce testosterone. Well, you don't worry about that anyway, but I can teach you how to not sleep.
You have to go see our friends at NextGen to supplement some of that if you're not going to sleep.
Shane would cry over the needle. Don't put it in. Exit
Oh
only.
no!
I know.
No.
There we go. That's fine.
Juan, why would you think Shane's being held against his will? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And why did he say that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, where did that come from? He gets paid a salary to be here, Juan. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't.
Shane, blink twice if you're being held against your will.
Now, Sasha, on the other hand, she might be here against her will.
I have never seen Sasha this many days in a row.
Honestly, didn't you used to work in the same building?
Yeah, but
That's not true.
that's
years?
like 8 years ago.
Okay, so it's not
That part's true.
More than that. And I lobbied to keep her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, look, idiots.
And now look at us.
I think that was kind of my delivery because, I can pout.
Like, hey,
But your boy stomped. What are we doing?
getting your pout game right.
Little did we know that was the beginning of the end.
Sometimes you have to, get your pout game right.
I'm trying not to look at you, but I do like to make eye contact.
Yeah.
That Pop-Tart looks mildly disgusting.
No, it's better. So the one yesterday was a little rough.
What's the topping? Because it looks like peanut goo.
No, it's brown sugar cinnamon. So this is like a little cinnamon glaze. The inside is the brown sugar
Glaze, huh?
Yeah. Well, what else would it? Frosting? Was that better? What was it? Call it?
Because glaze is translucent. Not that I'm even gonna remotely explain this to you. Just say frosting.
All right. It's got cinnamon.
That is
frosting.
not.
It's not like a donut. It's not glazed. So some donuts have frosting and some have glaze, correct?
Sure.
Well, the ones that like the chocolate, those are more of a frosting.
Sure.
Not to glaze our own donut here or anything.
I knew that was coming.
No, why? We're glazing our own Pop-Tarts this morning.
I'm not eating Pop-Tarts. You're eating Pop-Tarts.
Jose says Pop-Tarts are illegal in some European countries. That's fine. I don't care. I don't live in Europe.
So did you know Subway bread is illegal in like 30 countries?
Yeah.
It's classified as cake because of the sugar.
Oh, I thought it was like a preservatives thing. Like it had too many preservatives.
Cake. It gets a cake classification.
So you can still get it. You just can't get it as
Well,
bread.
you can't get it in Germany. It's illegal there.
I thought the Germans enjoyed cake.
As in yellow cake, maybe, but that's different.
Well,
that would be
German chocolate cake. That's
uranium. That's probably too soon with what's going on in the world, right?
I mean, out of the things that they did, like nukes weren't like a big part of their deal.
Hey, my man looked dead at the camera and said, "We will kill you." I was like, huh, that's tough. Never heard that before, but I think he's serious.
Well, I guess here we are.
Wow. Never seen that happen before.
I don't even know who that is.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sit back down.
Just gonna reel that one back.
Hey, so did you, I wanted to ask you, but you were kind of crabby. Did you watch any women's basketball? Did you watch
Oh, yeah, I watched the Nebraska.
from Grainbridge?
Yeah, I watched the Nebraska women's game yesterday.
Were you sad?
Yeah, I was kind of bummed out, especially for as well as they started.
They needed that one.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Yep.
They were in the last four going into that,
They're going to need some help.
and they're going to need 0 bid stealers.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty soft
Yeah.
Michael Bublé.
They're in if they had gotten that one, I would have felt pretty good.
Mm.
That that was a tough, especially just the way it played out. That was pretty tough. And you knew Indiana could be a little volatile just based on based on their play style, like super 3-point heavy and things like that. But I don't know, man. I was pretty bummed out after they got the 20-point lead and couldn't figure out a way to hang on to that thing.
You want to set the lineup or show I? That's okay. I will.
No, go ahead.
Coming up at 8:45, we are going to talk to our insider, Brian Edwards. 9 o'clock from 24/7 Sports. We're going to talk to Michael Bruntzian. It's really just Bruntz. And at 9:30, we're going to talk to Jessica.
Jessica who?
Coody.
Oh, okay.
Is that fine?
Where's she from?
Well, I'm just going to say Lincoln, but really this little small place in Oklahoma.
Well, I meant more of the outlet she was representing.
From the Husker Radio Network, and in particular, Playfly Spirits.
Oh, we can leave that part out.
It was very cool. She apparently, now I want to make sure because I saw this posted other places. Her sit down with, well, it was on Inside Nebraska. I hope I didn't miss it on
Sports Nightly.
Sports Nightly. I need clarity before I put my foot in my mouth and she comes off the top rope. But it was on a recruiting website.
Yeah.
Her sit down with Coach Yelk.
Yeah.
Who you can see why it's a mini Chubb.
Yeah, you're a fan.
All in.
Which is good.
All in on Coach Tyler Yelk.
I think that was an important hire.
She called that a very intense interview. So I'm going to ask her about it.
He seems like an intense individual.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why it says it's pronounced 9 o'clock. That's
yeah, I had to get the Niners out of the way.
Yeah. Just coming up at 9.
Like the what?
Listen, sometimes the pronunciation isn't what you want it to be. And then at 9 o'clock.
9 of them would be tough.
Better or worse than Ass Wednesday? Shane, cut it.
Got a quarter?
It depends on what day it is.
Wow. I'm not much of a Glazer, A-Train. Not much at all.
By the way, just for clarification, Ask Wednesday is February 18th.
He's more of a Froster than a Glazer, right? No?
I was doing some research yesterday.
Heath, that's foul.
No, so I like the other Heath. I like this. The Heath the last couple of weeks is different than the funny jovial guy. This is the old school Heath before the transition, right? Because you told me he had that in him, and I was like, not our Heath.
Yeah, you didn't believe me.
Oh, no, he's got it in him.
I've known Heath since he was he had to be 15 or 16.
Oh, yeah, he's got it in him.
Yeah. If he's still rocking with me for this long, he's got that in him.
Yeah, he's got some of that ish. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. This is from
I'm ready.
This is a composite that ESPN put together on Bubble Watch, tracking teams that will make or miss the NCAA tournaments. This is from a young man named Neil Payne.
Okay.
Came out last night at 10:10.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
From the SEC conference, let's guess locks. How many locks did he lock in from the SEC conference?
Okay. So I have not seen this. Obviously, I've looked at other bracketology.
I didn't even tell you I was doing this.
Florida.
Correct.
Bama.
Correct.
Vanderbilt.
Correct.
Arkansas.
Correct.
Tennessee.
Correct.
Kentucky.
Correct.
Is he locking up Georgia?
He is locking up Georgia. Do you agree with those 7 locks?
Georgia probably yes, but that's the first one I'm starting.
No, he says 2 should be in. Who are they?
That's
one I literally just asked about.
Got to be my Texas schools, doesn't it?
That is one, but not who I was thinking of.
A&M or Texas? Which one is it in? Or which one is this should be?
Who did I ask Will Backus about? I said they could probably be a 9. What do you think about? I wanted him to show me this basketball team.
Missouri?
Correct.
So it's Missouri, and is it A&M or Texas?
Texas.
Okay.
I said correct. Do you have?
I didn't know which one you were
Wrigley's?
saying correct to, because I said it was.
You
like,
hadn't said A&M yet.
I said
you
the
just said
Texas schools, so I meant both of them.
Gum.
You shouldn't chew gum on the air.
I don't chew gum. Period. Work to do.
That's got to be A&M.
And
ooh, who is after A&M?
Charles Barkley. Yes.
That's got to. I would say that. Okay. The Auburn thing is pissing me off.
Okay, so hold that thought.
They're bad.
Hold that thought. Because I agree.
We're not. They should not even be in the conversation.
He says work to do. They got Alabama on Saturday. They're in the work to do category.
The work to do is win the SEC tournament. That's their work to do. That's not an NCAA. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This one surprised me. How many locks from the Big Ten?
From the Big Ten. I mean, so you're going to be super top heavy here.
More or less than the SEC?
We got to what? 9 locks?
7 locks.
Seven locks. Two
should be, and 2 with work to do.
Okay, so we got Michigan, Nebraska, Michigan State, Illinois, Purdue.
Missing one.
Iowa for locks.
Missing one.
Who am I missing?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin. Duh. Okay, so those 7 locks.
6.
Iowa's not a lock?
Iowa's not a lock.
Iowa's a should be in.
Iowa is one of 3 should be ins.
So Iowa,
correct.
UCLA.
Correct.
He's not putting. Ohio.
Who am I missing?
Correct.
So that puts me at 10 or 9. That puts me at 9.
How many have work to do?
For sure. I mean, I don't think so. USC.
Yep. I was surprised.
I think they're out, but
I was surprised. But who's the other one?
they're closer on work to do than friggin' Auburn is.
They play Ohio State Saturday.
I don't memorize schedules like you do, DB. Who's left with work to do?
It's your guy.
What guy?
Your guy.
My guy.
Literally your guy.
Well, it's not McCollum.
No, you like him more. You've known him longer.
It's
easiest clue in the continental U.S.
Apparently not.
Which Big Ten coach could you probably say hello to, not named Coach Wayberg?
Big Ten coach?
Got the funny spelling of his first name.
Oh, D-Rock.
Gee, many Christmas. Borderline dummy.
So I kept thinking, I got like in a Lutz because I knew Lutz better than the Breeze.
It's
and
not
I
Okie
couldn't.
State.
I know. That's why I was like, Big Ten coach.
So it's not so.
I don't think Indiana can get it.
He puts him in the work to do. So
Yeah.
there's 12 candidates. He gives the Big Ten one more should be in than the SEC, but one less
fewer
lock.
And then it's the same amount of
Nope.
one extra should be and one extra work to do.
One extra work to do.
So it's 11 to 12.
Correct. Now,
I mean, I put kind of Auburn and Indiana in the same category.
This is the toughest one.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Big 12 or ACC?
How many locks in the Big 12?
All right. We've got Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Kansas. BYU's a lock.
Correct. So they have 6 locks. Does the number of locks in the Big 10 and the Big 12 seem they should be the same?
I would say yes. I think the national narrative is that the Big 12 has been better than the Big 10 at the top. So I think the thing that the people say when they're having this conversation is, oh, the Big 10's deeper in the middle because there's more teams. I think they're pretty close at the top, and I think this would reflect that.
Okay. So if you're going to lock up 6 Big 12 teams, how many do you think he has in the should be in category?
So I'm assuming UCF is a should be.
UCF is the only should be in.
Because the next one.
So there's 2 work to do's.
So the next one I thought of was TCU.
Correct.
That's a work to do.
Who's in? And they have Cincinnati on Saturday. Who else?
Is it Cincinnati?
It is Cincinnati.
So Cincinnati is in kind of the same place as Arkansas. Or as Auburn. They're not getting in.
Okay. So
Like short of winning the conference tournament, they're not getting in.
last one. And he has them with 3 work to dos and 2 should be ins.
ACC?
How many locks?
Duke, Virginia, Louisville, Carolina. I'm going to forget what. Miami. Not a lock?
Not a lock.
Oh, wow. Clemson a lock?
I talk about them in passing because of their 3-point proficiency.
SMU?
Incorrect.
Not a lock?
Flying under the radar. They just got their doors blown off by Duke, which
Clemson?
incorrect.
Oh, NC State.
Correct.
They're a lock?
5 locks.
NC State's a lock over Miami and Clemson?
So of the should be ins, and there's only 2, who are they?
Miami and Clemson.
Miami and Clemson.
He's really putting NC State over Miami and Clemson?
Correct. Of the work to, do you want to know why?
Yeah, give me some reasoning here because I don't understand this.
Okay, so for Clemson, it's fresh off a nice resume with a win over Louisville on Saturday. The Tigers hung with North Carolina and Chapel Hill on Tuesday, even leading midway through the second half, but ultimately fell to their 5th loss in 6 games. It doesn't spell doom for Clemson, though it still ranks no worse than 7th in the ACC in resume average, which is behind NC State.
Did he give reasoning on Miami?
I'm going to get to him.
Okay.
And the consensus at-large chances remain above 90%, down from 98 due to the recent slump, but still high enough in the conference pecking order to feel optimistic about the chances ahead of the regular season finale against G-Tech. A win would give the Tigers a much-needed momentum reset ahead of the ACC tournament. So they have G-Tech on Saturday.
Okay.
Now, this is Miami. The Hurricanes have been on a roll in ACC play, adding to their recent resume, boosting victories over Carolina, NC State, Va-Tech, and another big one against SMU on Wednesday, knocking the Mustangs down in the ACC bubble pecking order. Miami's at large chances, 91%.
Mm-hmm.
A national resume qualifying ranking inside the top 30 are now well on the right side of the bubble picture within the ACC. Louisville is no slouch to close the regular season against, but the Canes are in great shape. Sounds like he could have locked up the Canes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that was throwing you.
I'm okay with Clemson. The logic makes sense there. The logic with Miami doesn't make a lot of sense to me to not be a lock. And to have NC State be a lock ahead of them.
So I gave you SMU as work to do. Who are the other 2?
Are we doing Va-Tech?
Good pull.
Is he doing Cal?
Correct.
Okay. Is that it?
That's pretty good. Well, I get SMU. There's 3 with work.
That's a SMU. Okay, yeah.
How many did they lock up in the?
It was 5.
In the Big East.
Oh, in the Big East, it's just got to be the 3, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
How many should be in?
None.
I
was gonna say
that's pretty good.
That's nobody, right?
How about work to do?
Work to do in the Big East.
They have a huge one on Friday.
Work to do.
I asked you about him. You hate the coach, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Seton Hall.
Correct.
Yeah. That was a better hint than I could talk to the coach.
You sound like a little kid, a little deviant, naughty kid. That's better than the place I can talk to, because hate is stronger than love in my household. I'm Ravi Lulla.
No, it's just easy.
You said that like a legit 7-year-old.
It's just easier to remember my hates.
God, that was scary. Reminded me of Chucky.
No, to be honest,
I'm Chucky.
What threw me off is I actually didn't know D-Rock that well. So the only guy I feel like I could probably the guys from Creighton staff that I feel like I could go and say hi to on the street. No,
you would though.
I'd say
like, oh, that's the guy with the interesting spelling first name.
Yeah, I'd probably say hey, but I'd remind him who I was as I said hey.
The guy sure he doesn't know a lot of people that look like you. Big full beards and only 5'1".
The guys that
Shane. That fits too.
Shane and I look a little different.
It's the glasses.
The guys that I could walk up to that I feel like would know me on site and would be Steve Lutz, and he's still on staff, but Coach Murfeld.
Yeah. Oh, Murph's a stud.
Yeah, because I mean I've done that to both of those guys, and I ran into this was several years ago, but I ran into Lutz in Indianapolis, and he was like he recognized me before I saw him.
Yeah, very distinguishable characteristics.
Yeah, you know.
Unlike a lot of my friends that I bring up here on.
No,
set,
that's Williams
apparently.
Winari and EJ Barcel.
What the hard R?
No, that was the soft A though. That's what we were getting on the earlier. It was the soft A.
That's fine. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get to some press conference clips.
I want to take a break, but I want to. It's my turn to quiz you, I think.
Oh, does Sasha say it's okay?
I don't ask for permission on these things usually.
Exactly.
I want
proceed at your own risk.
I want you to blind rank 5 current Big Ten players for me.
Blind rank. Oh, that's executive power. She said, Shane, cue the goddamn music.
No, she wants the tease. She's like, we're going to carry these through the break.
Oh, that's professional. We call those a tease.
Yeah.
What am I doing again?
You're going to blind rank 5 Big Ten basketball players.
Okay.
I'm not pretending these are the best 5. These are 5 good Big Ten basketball players that I want you to blind rank.
All right. I'll play.
We'll do that coming up next. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I thought they did the opposite of what we did, and that was they just really hammered the paint, and it was like they went to the basket. We both hit 5 threes today, but theirs were on 13 attempts and ours were on 22. And I just thought that there were a couple times where we took maybe some quick shots out of the flow of our rhythm of our offense from players that maybe we wasn't right in the rhythm of what we were looking for, and they got those long rebounds and turned those into paint touch points. A couple turnovers to start the first half that, we were looking to hit a roller, like not maybe staying aggressive minded, thinking score off ball screen action and then turn it over. And they were converting those turnovers, long rebounds with really aggressive attacking the paint. And that's something that I thought we maybe settled a little bit, and they continued to think attack.
Yeah, I would think it's very unique. Obviously, we're in unprecedented waters, with, the newness, the transition, the fluidity of rosters. But, we're very fortunate to have 2 guys that have some experience, or 3 guys that have experience, great character, great people, fit in the room's been awesome as far as that dynamic. So excited about not only the experience that they bring, but the character and the work ethic that they bring. I think they all have like a different skill set to that point. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. But I think they bring a lot to the table, on schedule, off schedule, from an intellectual perspective. So I think there's a lot that you can draw from. You can lean a lot on them. You can ask a lot of them. And I think they're, open and capable of learning that way.
to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. And it's time to do what's up?
He just fibbed. Well, Shane, 27 seconds ago, which is about your duration, you said you were coming back with a clip.
I asked if you wanted a clip, and I didn't get an answer. Trust me, I mean, I cut the stuff up. I want to play them.
As if it's ever stopped him before.
Right?
Yep. I think that's a great question. And I think that's a rare thing in college football now. So, but really, if you look at a lot of like how Emmett's development went, I know the strengths and the weaknesses of each guy, and so I think that's a huge advantage of being with them. And then, I've been their coach and I know exactly where they need to improve. And we can set our drill work. We can set our off the field work, study habits to making sure that we're attacking deliberately where they need to improve. So that's a huge advantage for me.
We got to hold that thought. I appreciate you just usurping power, Shane. That's what you do. You're at your best when you don't listen to me.
You know what kind of struck me a little bit yesterday?
What?
And we'll get to the blind rankings here in a second. But when he was talking about Mosey, and he's like, yeah, he's like a real running back now.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me because it's not about what he actually said, but you have to have like a pretty good relationship with a player to be able to say something like that. Because a lot of players are going to take that the wrong way.
Did you listen to Mosey?
Yeah.
They're the same person.
Well, and he was like, oh, man, yeah, I felt pretty good to hear him say that.
Yeah, like they're the same person.
Yeah.
Headstrong, competitive, constantly wanting to get better. Like EJ stays on the gas.
Yeah.
That's why I said he could have coached our room.
Yeah.
And I think he would have been willing to, Coach Solich was willing to fight us. EJ would have fought us. He would have held firm. And he would evolve. He evolves the individual work and the group work. He doesn't just do EDDs to be doing or everyday drills just to be doing everyday drills. Like
there's a purpose.
There's a purpose to what they need to be working on. So it may fluctuate a little bit. Like I like that.
Yeah. You also, you need a very specific personality type to.
You have to know your. You have to know your guys.
You have to know your guys
in that room because we're not smart like linemen where we conform. Linemen will all group think.
Yeah,
and they'll come together,
especially offensive, offensive line.
Even D line to a degree will hunt in packs. Running backs aren't like that.
No, because you don't get to play together,
and everybody has different skill sets.
Even when you've got different skill sets along the line,
you only get to play one of them.
So that's the problem. And that's why I thought, and I think we may have some stuff from the quarterback room here in a little bit, but that's why I thought we heard from all three quarterbacks yesterday, three of them in the press conference, and then two more on Sports Nightly. That I thought it was really interesting the way they were describing the dynamics of that room.
Yeah,
because that's a place like running backs where only one guy gets to play, and the dynamics can get weird in a hurry.
Yeah, the beauty of Sports Nightly. And I'm not just being a homer because I work for the network.
Yeah, but I was laughing at TK.
I do like the fact, and I appreciate when they post their public clips, like we use them. So thank you to Husker Sports Nightly and the Husker Radio Network for the audio first and foremost. But see, they'll get stuff out of guys because of the level of comfort in the interviewing style.
Yeah, and they're around them all the time, right?
Yeah, don't discount the power in that.
Yeah,
right. So
like Jess and Kyle especially are around those guys way more than
and I'm telling
any
you,
other media member.
I've said this, and it'll be the last compliment I give her because I think we have to talk to her today. But her ability, just go back and listen to the Elk interview.
Yeah,
like her ability when you get
she's very disarming.
When you get a jarhead like Yelk to say, that's a good question. How much time do you got?
Yeah.
And then he gives this piece about something that's not really the question, but it's inviting. And then he comes back to it and says, hey, to get back to your question, that's how you know you did a good job.
Yeah.
And I bet you he would be tough because right off the bat, she asked him about, she tried to ask kind of a leading question and he shot it down.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't know if you really settle in or get acting. You just hit the ground running. And I was like, oh, it might be one of these.
Yeah.
But as it went on, she just kind of broke him down. And then all of a sudden I was like, this thing is sensational.
It's kind of,
and I was waiting for that.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because like when you're doing,
Kalen's not saying that to anybody else.
Well, that was in the presser.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
he had, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a great sense for Kalen's personality. I sort of think, I don't know. I think there's a little bit more chip on his shoulder than maybe we give credit for.
100%, especially for as good a guy as he is.
Yes,
because he's a good dude.
I think we take his kindness and be like, oh, just happy to be here. What I think he's got a little more chip on his shoulder. Like,
you know why I like that? Because I feel like that's a lot of what I do.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna be nice to you.
I'm the quietest receipt keeper
you.
in America.
Yeah,
and I don't love that about me.
Yeah,
but I mean, it works.
I keep my receipts pretty loud.
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely different.
I staple them to my forehead.
I just disappear, and people are like, what happened to that dude? I didn't like you.
But like, maybe I'm reading way too much into this. That's entirely possible. There's a part of me that thinks when Daniel Kalen is talking and like being back at Nebraska and things like that, there is a part of me that thinks, not from like a talent or whatever standpoint, that he's saying to you, you chose the wrong guy to ride for Nebraska.
Yep.
Because I'm the one that actually will, and the other guy wasn't.
It's such a hard conversation to have because I don't like to get in the mud, and I typically am not a pound of flesh guy. But I'll say this connected to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that I think thinks a lot like you that coaches that football team about guys that ride with Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And he said on a couple of different occasions, hey, these guys that said that they love Nebraska and were all about Nebraska, like, where are they at? Meanwhile, you guys have tried to paint me as this guy that's got 1 foot out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't even crossed my mind. So, like, can we talk about that? And I know in his personality, he tries to suppress that because it can come across as petty's not even the word, but he is keeping receipts, right? And he's highly competitive. So I don't mind that he says it because I know how he feels.
Yeah.
And I said this I tried to explain this to some prominent, really good players in state that got out of state. And
I remember this. Yeah.
What'd I say?
You said you may not be able to come back if you aren't riding for Nebraska now.
Yeah. Like
basically.
Don't wait till they get good because he loved Nebraska before it was popular to love Nebraska.
And he tried to get other people to love Nebraska before it was popular to love Nebraska.
So it's like, I mean,
talking about Caleb,
I think the reason that he stays on the gas, whether it's with Troy Dannon or whomever else, about doing what it takes to win,
mm-hmm.
whether it's spending here or, putting this aside and putting more money here and this, that, and the other. Like, the reason that I think he's like that is because of what he wants this place to be.
Absolutely.
And it's because of how he feels about it. Right. And it starts right there in his own household with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Julie doesn't rock with Nebraska the way she does, and she knows they're hard on his husband.
Yeah.
On her husband. You know what I mean? And it's like, I listened to Sip the other day. Like, he feel like you just feel this thing where people have taken these hardline stances. And I still think it's a little bit early.
I agree.
Because what he's shown you is he's willing to change.
Yeah.
So he's putting the guy, it manifests itself in different ways. So I'm not saying I'm right. But I said he just needs the right guys in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I said the infrastructure is good.
Yeah.
How they're doing business,
spent a long time.
The revamping of the staff, putting people in the right seats. Like, the infrastructure is good.
Mm-hmm.
They need the right people in the building. When I say that, some of it is staff, right? The ability to control a room. Control your meeting room.
Yeah.
Paramount. Why do I say that? Because I get a sense on how guys feel.
And if you don't, you're not getting anything out of them.
Doesn't matter what happens on the field.
You're not.
That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
And what coach alluded to controlling the meeting room the other day?
Was it Manning or Brown?
It's one of the two.
Yeah, it was that day.
Talked about.
Yeah.
It might have even been Rule.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So anyway, like, that's key.
Mm-hmm.
It's critical. And then the other thing is the guys that are riding with Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Am I riding with this team? Right? Because, Caleb said something in Fairfield, and even Luke Lindenmeyer, who's the consummate diplomat, kind of agreed. He's like, listen, man, we love you fans. It's great. This place can't function without you. He said, but the longer we do this and the more we hear, the more we know we just have to hunker down.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yes.
Because, I told you, it's like riding with those guys in Nebraska City, and we're listening to talk shows and they're having opinions on what's going on, and there couldn't be anything further from the truth, but we'll talk about it like it's fact. And they're in the car like, dude, it's not even like that. Like, where do you guys get this from?
That's not what happened, and that's not what happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, the more you either can't listen to it at all,
or you can't let it bother you,
or you just have to know you and be secure. You need people that have more Teflon qualities, right? Because what people say is, and it's like what Joe says, that's not how the real world. Joe, you don't even function like that. So I don't know why you want 18. We say we act like this bravado machismo thing. Hey man, just play ball. Don't worry about what people think. That is such a crock of bleep. It's not even funny, because the minute people say boo to you at your job and you pretend like it doesn't bother you, or at least get in your head, you're lying. Like, you just are. It's not even human nature. But what we like to do, because it's cool and we're removed, is we'll say, hey man, just go play ball. Hey man, just get better. Just dial in. Yeah, I mean, 4% can do that.
Yes.
4% can do that. Like, the other 96% listen to things like that. Now, whether it dictates your behavior or not is one thing.
That's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation.
But everybody
hears
it.
But everybody hears it. Let's not, like, this pretend world, this myopic pretend world we play in.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Like, people in the pros do it. But yet, what do? We act like it's not even what we would normally do in our real life. Like, you could be married. You know what you're doing. Your wife says something to you, make God dang ruin your day.
Sure.
Right? Your kids could say something to you that ruin your day.
Yeah.
Your boss could say something to you that ruins your day. Yet you think being a meme or just don't be on social media. You still know it's out there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to look at it to know it's out there.
Because you know what people do. Other people that are on social media tell you about it.
So instead of saying don't pay attention or just do your job, how about you don't provide how about we control what we can control and keep the negative bullshit out of it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's an option too.
It is.
So as opposed to having the 18 to 22-year-olds have to be better, we could be better as adults too. Like that I know
on the table.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's on the table. But in the meantime, so I don't get too soapboxy, it's you have to have people in the building that could give two bleeps about what's going on. Like that, you got to be riding with the brand. And then in turn, you can't be mad or have an opinion when those that are in it with each other only rely on each other. No, man, but get our energy from us, man. We're investing in you. We're pouring in on you. And you got to understand, sometimes players say, are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
Because they hear the other stuff too.
So it's like they know the guys in the locker room are, so that's just where they're going to rest. Like, that's just the reality of it.
Here's the other part about that equation that I think you can tell, you can just tell the way certain people kind of process things. And for me, what I like about what you're talking about is, and not to go all armchair psychologists on people, but it's about identifying people that can function well at a place like this.
Any place, any high leverage, any high leverage place. I mean, employers spend a lot of time creating an environment in which employees can function at a high level. You know what they don't say? And culture be what it, damn the culture be what it may, man. You guys just do what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about where we dropped you. Like, who does that?
And
if they do, you don't stay at those places of employment very long.
Yeah, those places do exist, but people don't like to be there. They get out as soon as possible.
It's not just sports, man. But we act like sports people are the only ones that should be above it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's going to work and they're saying, man, I don't care what anybody says about me, and I don't care what kind of environment this is, man. Bring it on. How many people you work with like that?
Not very many.
We can't go 5 minutes without complaining. We can't go 5 minutes without complaining about something.
Yeah.
We bitch and moan about something every 10 minutes, and we expect players at the collegiate level, even though they're being paid, to just move on. Like, it's not even realistic.
The thing
it's like, I don't even know where we get that from.
The thing that I appreciate about this conversation is, and this is a big thing with me, is people that like to be internally validated, that can validate themselves versus require external.
Yeah, you always want best
factors.
practices, right?
Right.
If I knew that I could pick somebody that could give two bleeps about what anybody says about them and could just stay stay on track with the task at hand, I'm taking those guys every day that ends in Y.
Absolutely.
Problem is those people are hard to come by. But when we see them, how much do we admire them?
Yeah.
Like, we're willing to overlook any transgression Kobe Bryant ever had because we like the way he attacks life, right? Michael Jordan could have been a sorry-ass teammate, but we like the way that he attacks life.
Yeah.
Like, we want those qualities, and we're drawn to them. You think it's fun? Who wants to go to a party with Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Like, but you want to rock with that guy, though, when it comes time to go compete.
I mean, Tom Brady's a great example because that
dude isn't a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would say he's a guy.
He's eating wheat germ, and he makes sure that his underwear fits a certain way, so like flow rate is good. Like like people that could give two, like, they're not always fun to be around.
He's a guy that you want in your locker room that you may not want in your household. Like, that's like, you may not.
I mean,
that's what I mean.
Clearly,
that's like that. But that's why he's such a great example of what you're talking about, right? And
my favorite is, like, we fast forward through our crappy years. Like, I mean, do you want to go back and talk to the 20-year-old you? I don't want to go back and talk to the 51-year-old me.
Yeah. I mean, I 100%. Like, I can mark you the day when I would enjoy starting to talk to myself.
So I don't mind actively seeking out people that just ride. Like, Bill wants people that are for Hurrdat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Playfly wants people that are for Playfly. Like, Mutual wants people that are for Mutual.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we go to work.
You want advocates. You want people that advocate for the thing you're doing.
But the minute we have advocates, like, in the sports world for their own team, it's like, oh, man, like, I don't know why they take that us against me attitude.
And can we get to the dirty little secret of this whole thing with Daniel Kalen? Because that's where this started. Is it actually doesn't matter if he ever plays. You still want that guy in your room.
No, that's why I'm trying to find a clip of what he talked about the quarterback room.
Right?
We do. Oh, she's trying. That's fine. I mean, that would have been, you'd have pulled that off.
Yeah, that was my fault. I should have texted him last night. That was my fault.
We were trying to do this in 10 minutes.
But that's why the thing with that Jose said earlier, like, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter if Daniel Kalen never takes a snap at the University of Nebraska. And you want that guy in your room.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you, like, if you guys are mad at me for saying this, then there's a 100% chance I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
So 100% chance.
That's how those things work typically.
Because what I'm saying is it's not for my benefit.
Yeah.
It's not so I'm just asking you to step back and take an approach and understand exactly what we're dealing with.
Especially and here's, I think, the part where, and I don't know if people are going to get mad at me for this. I know.
I mean, like, we haven't said crazy things.
Like, that's where you have to ask yourself, if this really bothers you, if this approach really bothers you, do you actually want the university to succeed? Because that's the next logical question. If you are so dead set on being this other thing, being the negative, being the hater, being whatever.
You know who's experiencing this?
Who?
I mean, they're going through it real time, and I'm just saying that because I know the guys. It's Nebraska basketball.
Sure.
Like, I'm just, we don't. You just gotta. Sometimes you just gotta press pause and pull back. Be like, am I helping or am I hurting? And I'm not saying you gotta cram the tube down your throat with the fake trach and take everything that's being thrown at you. But you also have to be able to know what's good for you from a sustenance standpoint and be like, okay, I wasn't willing to swallow this the first time around. I know I need this. I may not like it going down.
Yeah, take your medicine, though.
Take the medicine, man. And you can eat the meat and spit out the bones.
And listen, here's the thing. And this is where, Joe comes in with saying free speech and whatever. It's like, yeah, you can say whatever you want. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is if you are, and this is a thing that most Nebraska fans will.
Free speech is fine, but that doesn't mean you're free from retorts
or consequences.
Nobody. I mean, come on, man. It's like are we folding our arms now and taking our ball and going home? Like when we put stuff out in the ether, like it comes back. Like we do it every day.
And here's the thing. Nebraska fans, maybe as much as anyone, maybe as much as any fan base, believes we are part of the reason Nebraska wins. Is that fair? I think most Nebraska fans believe.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
This isn't necessarily about drawing lines in the sand about fandom.
No, I get it.
What I'm saying is it's as easy. You can be whatever kind of fan you want to be. I don't care. You can be whatever kind of media person you want to be. I don't care. What I care about is don't ask anything of somebody else that you're not capable of doing. Like,
or
don't
willing.
do it. Like,
yeah,
hang in there, hunker down, or why don't you just compete, or why don't you just? Well, then you do the same thing without being deterred by what goes on around you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't assume or ask anybody else to do it. I don't care how you think. Just don't be Just don't be disingenuous about what you want the desired outcome to be. It's not real rocket science. It's as simple as you want to treat people how they want to be treated, but you get into the whole simple versus easy thing because we act like because they can do something that we can't do, then that means they get a different barometer of how we should act from a people standpoint. And that's not the way that's not how it goes.
And it goes back to one of the examples you brought up.
I mean, poor people can compete. Non-athletes can compete. Like people, like you don't have to be from a certain place or do a certain thing to have attributes. You don't. Like we act like you do, though. If you make enough money, that means you should be this. If you have this kind of skill, that means you should be that. Like it doesn't work like that.
People without high incomes can be fiscally savvy. That's a real thing.
And you're talking about the greatest variable on the planet, which is human behavior.
Yeah.
The single greatest variable on the planet.
Especially at that age.
You could be a completely different person within minutes, given a stimuli. It's more volatile than the weather.
Even in Nebraska. Let's take a quick break here. We will get to our Big Ten basketball player blind rankings. Got off on a good tangent there. It was a good conversation. That's my fault because I started with
Daniel Caleb. We didn't even hear the clip,
so it's all right.
We'll listen to it.
Eventually, we'll get it. It's not a big deal. We'll talk to. We'll get into our Big Ten basketball blind rankings talk coming up next. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, we didn't wrestle well that day. Wrestled much better on Sunday, I think. But yeah, I think just the nature of sports, man. It's wild. That's why we do it, right? That's why you have the highs and the lows, and it's tough to control. You just got to go out and lay it on the line and getting people to believe in themselves. And yeah. Iowa wrestled well that day, and we didn't so much. And I think we've learned from that experience, and that's why we're a lot better team now than when we wrestled them that evening. So I think that's great. That's the challenge as a coach, to get your team to believe in themselves and how to overcome some obstacles like we had that evening. And so, yeah.
With Lawrence?
Yeah.
Offensively? Yeah, she's done a really nice job. I keep telling her, she does a great job in that 9-hole rolling over to the top of the lineup, but she's doing her job, and she's had a lot of RBI. She's come up in clutch situations. The Oklahoma State game that we dropped, she did have the RBI. Of course, I forget which game it was on Sunday in Palm Springs with that grand slam that created some distance in the game, which gave us a little breathing room. She's just done a really nice job. She doesn't swing out of zone. The moment doesn't get too big for her. And I know last year after the Super Regional at Tennessee, she stopped in Coach Miller's office very shortly after the season was over and said, I want to focus on being better offensively this year. And she's really focused on that.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by NextGen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Had quite a conversation going on in the comments in the chat from our last conversation. Heath chimes in, which I think is a really interesting thought here, kind of tangential to what we were talking about, is people don't realize if you're not a starter for any sport in college, it's an absolute mental grind to get to that spot every day. It's miserable trying to compete.
Oh, yeah.
So having the mentality, whether you get on the field, don't get on the field, whatever, that is that's a huge part of it. Funky says he really looks for honesty from people that do what we do. He says it's fine if you're negative, I can change the channel, but if you're negative to pander to your audience, then you're fake, which I think is what bothers people quite a bit.
That's
also.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I'll be honest, and this is just me airing dirty laundry here. The thing that bothers me is if you're negative to pander, people usually will give you a pass. If you're positive, they assume you're pandering, even if you're being honest. And that drives me crazy.
Wow. That should be a t-shirt. It's a lot, but that's the absolute truth. I want to go back to something because I can't remember. I think we touched on it with BC. BC has this unique way of getting us to kind of, every interviews guys have and gals have different tenors. BC is very much humanistic oriented, like the humanistic side of stories. What people are actually like. Shane, I want you to play this clip. We were talking about, I said something like, I said, hey, I'm just telling you guys, like with these quarterbacks' temperament, it's built for competition because I think they all have Nebraska at the end of the deal. Like, is Nebraska going to be good? I've said this forever, right? I didn't, cheer for Lawrence to play because I'm not competitive.
Yeah. And it certainly wasn't good for you.
Yeah. I cheered
Personally.
for Lawrence because I loved him and I wanted Nebraska to be good. And I didn't get out of bed and was able to do that. I was a prick a lot of times along the way. Right. But at the end of the day, the real magic happens. You don't get Brooke and Tommy and guys waiting in the wings. Like Adam True couldn't play for 3 years. The guy he's a 3rd round draft pick, right? So there's some of that where you just have to have general concern for what the goal is. And if you can hang in there. I had a conversation with the guys last night, man. At the end of the day, you got an audience of 1. That's it. Just play to your God-given abilities. You don't worry about the question asking, am I good enough? Looking for affirmation after every rep. I know that sounds easy to say.
It's not. I mean,
just dumb it down, though. Just dumb it way down. Is that the best that I could do in that moment? And then be able to repeat it. Again, simple versus easy. What you don't worry about is, hey, I didn't get this kind of feedback from my coach. I don't know if that was right. I would like to have this. I didn't get this. You got to flush it. This is going to give you the cheat code. It's like if we need, or you're at your job and you need constant affirming of, did you do it right? How many of us could function at a high level? Yet, when we critique and we criticize performance, we talk about doing things as though we should always just rise above what's going on. I just think it's the oxymoron in that is just, it's fascinating to me, but I get the dynamics of being on the outside looking in. So I try not to judge that. I just think it's interesting to watch unfold. And so I said to BC, if TJ can compete at a high, I said to one of the DBs the other day, I'm like, look, man, it's like TJ's not going anywhere. Like and I mean that from a competitive standpoint. Like Calandry could do all these things and TJ's going to compete his ass off. Like that's hard to find, right? He's going to lift, he's going to go put on weight. He's going to pay attention to the film room. He's going to try to accentuate his strengths. Kalen will look at those other two and he's going to be like, man, I left. Like, what if I absorb my circumstances? What if I allow my circumstances of bailing the first time, then coming back, and then having to try to, like, if he overthinks that, his performance is different. So, like, as a young man, to compartmentalize that, and talk about the room, it's 2 things. So I'm gonna play back-to-back clips because I think they have the Kalen clip ready. But I want to go to Shane. I'm gonna stretch you here, boss man. So be patient with me. It is Glenn Thomas talking about the 3 quarterbacks. It's clip 1 from Glenn Thomas.
Yeah, I would think it's very unique. Obviously, we're in unprecedented waters, with, the newness, the transition, the fluidity of rosters. But, we're very fortunate to have 2 guys that have some experience, or 3 guys that have experience, great character, great people, fit in the room. It's been awesome as far as that dynamic. So excited about not only the experience that they bring, but the character and the work ethic that they bring.
So you don't have that if you're bringing stuff with you.
Like baggage.
You don't.
Yeah.
If TJ's like, man, they brought Calandria in. What we'll say, though, in the media, we'll say, oh, man, they brought Calandria in to start. Like, he didn't come here to sit. Yeah, no bleep. That doesn't mean that the guys that are in that room have to accept it. And you don't want them to.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
So it doesn't matter.
Because what's the other side of that coin? What's the other side of the coin of they didn't bring Anthony Calandria in to sit? TJ didn't stay to sit either. You know what I mean? Like,
I just think the practicality of having an open mind is it's traumatizing to some people because we don't want to talk about it to the good. We'll eye roll, especially if we feel like this is psychobabble, right? We'll just, oh man, these guys get along good. Why don't you just win games? We'd be the same people that if TJ left, you know what we'd say? Couldn't handle the competition.
Mm-hmm. Oh, didn't want to compete.
Didn't want to compete, man.
Same people that bemoan the transfer portal in general. It's like, oh, it's for a bunch of babies that don't want to compete.
So it's like, that's why I tell the players and coaches, it's not necessarily about you versus them and hunkering down. You don't necessarily have to be as outwardly about it as Bo was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to see how if I'm only going to ride with the people that I think are for me.
Sure.
That's just human nature. Nobody goes out of their way to seek guidance and input from people that don't root for their best interests.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that's such a foreign concept. I want to go back to something of the power of the competition because it's the temperament. I don't land the plane here for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
The temperament of your team can start in one of three areas. And it's always one of these three areas.
Can I guess?
Sure.
Quarterbacks?
Number one.
Lines? Offensive line specifically?
That's number two.
Head coach?
D-line.
D-line, okay.
I'm just talking about guys on
the field. Okay.
The temperament from your team comes from one of those three rooms.
Yes.
It's either your quarterback room,
mm-hmm.
your O-line, or your D-line. If you think about it like that, can you see where Nebraska has struggled
mm-hmm.
over the last handful of years? I'm taking head coaching prowess out of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes.
I'm taking head coaching prowess out of it.
Yeah, I think you can.
Because it's too easy to say, well, if your team just took on the personality of your head coach,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, Cignetti intentionally looks for guys that think like him.
Yeah, at some point you have to take on the personality of guys that are on the field with you.
Okay, but if you remove Cignetti
mm-hmm.
from the deal, whose temperament did Indiana take on? Mendoza.
Yeah.
You look at some of the great Alabama teams. If you take Saban out of it, was one of the three things that I mentioned.
Always. Yeah, because I wouldn't say they took on. Like, I do think they took on Jalen Hurts' personality,
100%.
But I don't think they took on Tua's.
So Nebraska has to decide. When you look and you think the quarterback room is in flux
mm-hmm.
or they're not on the same page, it's hard to break the huddle as an offensive lineman and be like, is this A for 1 for A? Is this all for 1 for all? We don't like to think about it like that. I know. We just want to look and see, did we pen, did we pull, did we block? I'm just telling you, you better figure out why in nut cutting time you fold like a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why you fold like a deck of cards in nut cutting time the last handful of years with Nebraska? Because you don't believe and you're not for one another. So you better, as media and fan base and anybody else, we better get over the fact that we're good enough individually and athletically to not be connected. You better have your ass connected when you're trying to get over the hump, because all you've got is you guys. And you don't lose a season with a goddamn onside kick or a meltdown in the second half of Boulder or wet the bed against Iowa in 60 seconds when you had the game won, or let a swing pass break your back, or give up a 3rd and 18 and cover goddamn 3 because you don't have the discipline to be deepest as the deepest man in the zone, or turn a guy loose against cover 2 because you didn't get the coverage. You don't do that if you believe in one another. You're going to make physical mistakes, but you don't have the emotional meltdowns at such a drastic measure if you're rocking with one another. I just listened to Coach Yelk say yesterday to Jeff, and this is at the NFL level. He said, you know, one of the cool things Nick Sirianni did? He played all these clips from championship caliber teams. And all the clips that he picked, multitude of sports, all the clips that he picked the players at the podium after they're raising trophies, putting on rings, and all that other good stuff. He talked about we're connected, the chemistry, the camaraderie. You cannot be a team that is struggling the last 8-9 years to find an identity and not be connected to one another. So you can't roll your eyes at the intentional efforts and the desires of staffs to talk about being connected. You can't.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work that way. And you have to speak it into existence.
Yeah, it has to start somewhere.
That's just how it's going to go. That's just how it's going to go. Sash, remember, one of three rooms. It's either got to be the quarterback room, the offensive line, or the D line. You want your leadership and your temperament to be as close to the line of scrimmage as possible. And I'm not saying you can't have rock stars, safeties, and dog linebackers, but for all the guys that Saban was getting drafted out of Bama, out of the secondary, man, the temperament of that team was started with guys at the line of scrimmage. Indiana's the temperament of that team starts with guys that are closest to the line of scrimmage. With Michigan, we hated McCarthy.
Yeah.
Right? But that dude would nut up, though.
That dude, and look at their offensive and defensive lines.
Offensive and defensive lines. Play the clip from DK from last night, Shano.
You know, today's college football, I mean, you know, there's a lot of different aspects involved. You see a lot of different guys. And I'm not calling anyone out, but, you know, there's egos and there's money involved, things like that. And I think that can kind of create some tension or problems sometimes in a QB room. And I think there hasn't been any type of issue like that with the room that we have right now. It's been great. You know, we've been doing some things outside the facility together as well, which is, I think, kind of rare and unique. So I think that's been a really cool part of the room.
If we want to know the story and we want to listen, then we got to let guys tell the story.
Well, he just told us
what we do with the information. We can roll our eyes and say spring ball or wait till, you know, Big Ten play or whatever. But
he just told us
we don't just magically get there.
You want to know why the temperament of the team didn't come from the quarterback room the last 2 years? He just told us.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard. So if you want to go to a couple of years ago with the offensive line, if the offensive line feels that strain or stress, it's hard for them to maximize. It just is.
Yeah.
Because you're riding with the guy that you're getting information from. And hear my heart. This is not just a Dylan issue. The adults in the room have to control the environment so you best prepare your people. As a parent, one of the things that I talk about all the time, I want to raise my kids in such a way where I don't care what environment they're dropped into, the environment doesn't dictate their behavior. Maybe that's myopic, but it's my goal. I don't want to have my mood or my temperament set on whether they reset the equipment up right or whether it's 78 degrees in a room versus 65. If I'm bothered and I can't do a show because I'm hot or I don't like the setup originally or I don't like the lighting and it comes out in how I actually disseminate information to you, how good am I at what I'm doing? I'm just going to be a pawn to whatever it is my conditions are. Nobody wants that. And I don't want to cheer for people like that. Yet we get it twisted when we have to cheer for people like that because we think that they should just be able to overcome. It doesn't work like that. Especially when you don't have the foundation of winning to draw back on. So you have to be connected. The one time we felt really good in the last handful of years, in the last 3 years, who was playing well and we kind of took on their identity as a team?
I'll
give you the last 3 years.
Just since Rule. I would say, well, the thing that comes to my mind immediately was the Colorado game at home when Ty Robinson and the defensive line are just wrecking shop.
Very good.
That's the best we felt.
We took on the persona of our defensive line.
Big ass Ty Robinson, the whole thing, like, right? Like that was the.
It's not rocky. What I'm telling you is not reinventing the wheel. We just don't think of it like that when we talk about what's kind of ailed from within. I mean, these guys go south in a hurry for almost no reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's uncanny.
Yeah. So what do you do to insulate against that?
You better be good. You better have good, strong, competitive character in one, if not in all of those three rooms. Take it to the bank.
Corn Raider asked a good question. I think he's talking about, I'm assuming he's talking about Tommy Frazier. He goes, how do you explain a Tommy-led QB room? How did it work with that ego? I can guess.
There's a lot of misnomers about T Phrase. Let's be specific, because I don't want to assume T Phrase was a T Phrase. I think it's kind of a misnomer, and I know he says, "Hey, I wasn't always the most popular," but don't confuse being well liked with well respected.
So you know what it reminds me of?
Because
that question and what you're explaining. It reminds me of the line of what you just said about Michael Jordan earlier. I'm guessing Tommy Frazier was willing to do every single thing he was asking of everyone else.
100%.
Which that's what matters.
100%.
It doesn't matter if he rubs you the wrong way or whatever. Like
some of it, and you know what it is?
Some of personalities too.
Some of it is we're just not used to peers talking to us like that.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do from anybody that's in a classroom or coaching or even, I bet you Bill would say, we just saw the GOAT a minute ago. I bet you he would say, if my employees could better handle getting information disseminated from other employees, it would be immaculate.
Sure.
We can't take feedback or constructive criticisms from peers. It's the hardest thing for teammates to coach other teammates. Yet, you know what we always say? Oh,
I want a player-led team.
Player-led
keep each other
teams,
accountable.
man. But it's so hard these last
Because
10,
nobody's
12
trying to
years
hear it
with
from,
what's happening socially. Like we're ill-equipped to communicate with one another because we don't know how to receive it, because we want different things. When you get on the same page for a collective goal, and I know you're for me, you'd be amazed at what you could say to me.
You know what is funny, and I could be wrong here, because I definitely could be wrong here, is when you have, I'll call it unity of purpose, the same goal. I don't even, like, if you genuinely, we'll use Tommy as an example, but just because that's who we brought up.
I mean, and I get Corn Raider's point.
I do think there was also a good point that ego and arrogance are not the same thing, but Amazing Daniel said that. I hate to give him credit, but
listen, can I just tell you, you want the dirty little secret?
Yeah.
Tommy Frazier was no harder to get along with than Zach Wiegert.
So that Heath brought that up.
And Wiegert had the exact same characteristics.
So here's what
Wiegert would tell you.
Yeah.
This is 42 out. This is 42 counter trap. Get your little ass through that hole and stop trying to be cute.
Mm-hmm.
Young DB was like, well, why do you have to talk to me like that? Why can't I just run where I want to run?
Yeah.
Or getting thrown out of bounds by Trev saying, do what the scout team card tells you. And I would say, how is that getting better if I just do what the card tells me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I'm not thinking that they're working on defending pullers and counter, or they're working on something like specific. They have something to accomplish. All I'm thinking about is what I want to do.
Yeah. How do I get better?
The disconnect leads to dysfunction. So you have to be connected. I guarantee you, try playing next to Jason Peter.
Oh yeah.
He told Jason, I watched Jason Peter talk to Jason Wiltz like a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, there's no way I would stand for that. I mean, I'm lying. Yeah, I would. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I did. Like I listened to Corey Schlesinger tell me Stop being a P-bomb. Strike me. You're not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
All right? I did it a little soft a couple of times in a row, and he knocked me on my ass, and I'm like, we're teammates. And he helped me. He jerked me up, and he's like, yeah, I know. I care. Get better. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
The thing I was going to say is and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong here. This is the sense that I get. Obviously, I have not been on teams that have been successful at that level. But it feels like to me, if we have the same unity of purpose, right? If I have this goal, you have this goal, and I know that is the thing you care about more than anything else.
Yeah.
And it's the thing I care about more than anything else.
Yeah, Jamal Rule can rip off a nice long run in practice, and Mosey will be the first one to celebrate him. Yeah, that's what happens.
The funny thing about that is, though, is at that point, if I believe those two things are true, I don't even need to know that you're for me, as long as I know we're for the same goal.
Hey, Shane, play clip from EJ Barthel talking about the development of Makai Nelson. It is try clip 4 from Coach Barthel, clip 3.
Off the field. He's really maturing, and so, for example, when we were on the road recruiting this cycle, he did a great job of getting the group together, making sure guys were meeting on their own voluntarily and coordinating, all the things that we talk about during the season as far as what we should be covering during their workouts, during their player workouts. So he did a great job as far as being the leader of that group in that sense. And so right now the challenge for him is going to see if he can take his body to the next level, and just like Evan had to do. And so, because there's no doubt about he has the breakaway speed and he has a competitive edge when he plays. And so, the big challenge for him right now.
Okay. Who's trying to win the starting running back job?
Makai Nelson.
What interest does it suit him to get other guys out on the field as a unit when the coaches are gone collectively? How does it help Makai's individual journey?
His individual journey, it probably does not.
It does not serve him well. You don't have to worry about Makai's work ethic. Makai's going to get his butt up, and he's going to go to the gym. He's going to lift. I told you he's the guy that crabbed at me at the dinner table about caloric intake and where he wanted his body, and I didn't believe him. So for a guy to invest in other guys that
he's I'll get on the scale right now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, "You want to get on the scale?" I'm like, no, man, I'm good. But for him to be rallying other guys that play his same position because it's what the team needs is growth.
Well,
that way,
yes.
When Mosey or Rule or Connor Booth or somebody has like sweet pass protection or they rip off a long run and you can legitimately cheer.
Yes.
On the sidelines, that's growth. But you want to know where it really serves dividends? If a running back breaks on a swing route in Iowa City and it's the only positive real yards they've had on offense, and I'm a defensive guy that could have made the play that didn't, and I still cheer for the defensive guy that didn't make the play, I have a better chance of hanging in there as opposed to crumbling. It absolutely all matters. If you get dirty yeses and guys that are like, well, I could have done that, or what about me? The more you have that, the less you're going to be able to get over the hump when you're not uber talented. And we've even seen uber talented teams not be able to overcome it either. Okay. What's the one thing I joke about with Indiana? And I'm sick of using Indiana, but it's such low hanging fruit. I'm going to eat the dirty fruit. You've heard me say they all look alike. They dress the same, kind of play the same. There's no real intricacies with, the style of dress or their uniforms. Like, what's that have to do with winning? Nothing.
And everything.
But everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I told you, Barrett Jones, we had him on. He just won the Outland. And he said, Saban's greatest strength is deprogramming 4- and 5-star guys to think collectively, but still have individual goals.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about it. What Yelk told Jessica about Coach Sirianni looking for clips from multiple sports about being connected. That's how they can withstand A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts or whatever else is going on publicly. Because for all that we hear and all the criticisms we had, they win a lot of games being connected.
You know what I would argue the biggest problem with Philadelphia was last
Him
year?
saying that about Mekhi, like I've never been more proud of a guy that has come so far.
Yeah.
He's antisocial. He's uber competitive. He can be mean-spirited. Like, but to invest in other people, like that's growing a young man. It's going to pay dividends. You want to cheer for people like that are invested in other people. When Mosey can say out loud, he didn't even bat an eye at Coach Barthel saying I wasn't a real running back. Like you think Riley Van Poppel shouldn't be able to listen to Corey Brown and say, hey, with RVP, this is what we talk about, man.
Yeah.
It's violence of the hands. It's pad level. It's hand striking. Like if RVP doesn't think that Corey Brown is for him, it could be like this dude's calling me out. But you know what RVP thinks? If I want to be good,
I gotta do that.
We always get mad at people telling us the truth. It's like when your first response is anger or to defend when you hear a truth, like that's time to press pause.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that they're telling me where there may be a hint of truth to it?
So can I ask you a question about sort of the connectiveness here? Because you brought up an example of Mekhi Nelson and then flipping that to how that connects to a defensive back who doesn't make a play, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask I'm trying to spell this out, the connectedness between that. Is it because when you're connected and everybody's for everybody and everybody's got unity of purpose, that Mekhi Nelson knows that the defensive back did all the work requisite to make that play and they just didn't make it?
Yeah, that matters.
Because sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's a good, like, that matters. Like, I have to know.
Because if you don't think a guy put in the work.
Like, you're not just afforded the luxury to talk crazy to me sometimes or to call me out about, like, stats or an opinion if I don't think you're putting in the work.
Sure.
It's more than just being for me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to know that we're at least somewhat equally yoked in that.
Yeah, that I did the legwork for that to be valid.
You've earned the right.
Yes.
Right. So, like,
if I'm Mekhi on the sideline watching a defensive back,
that's definitely part of it.
Okay.
But if I see a guy, and the guys know, man, I'm telling you, like,
players know who's dogging it in the weight room, who's not going hard, who's not eating right, who's going to McDonald's after hours, who's not getting their food in.
And conversely, when you see guys doing that and they're still playing, do you know what else happens? It makes it easier to fold. You get the whole deck of cards and fold up shop like a tent, man. Oh, man, shoot. That's 10 unanswered. Why'd we unravel?
It also makes it easier if you're a player to not trust your coaching staff, especially when, like, here's the thing that I think unravels more teams faster than anything. And I've been having this conversation as some of the NAI guys I talk to, their seasons are starting to wrap up, right? I've been having these conversations as they move into their off season. Is sometimes you have to play the guy that does all the things you ask them to do, not the guy that's the best guy.
Yeah. What?
Because you lose everybody else.
Why do you think Genatone is such a bell cow for what they want to do?
Because he does everything he's supposed to do.
And that dude shows up every day and puts his nuts on the chopping block every single day.
You know what I would love to see?
Like, do you know why the running back room got better even though they weren't getting opportunities watching Emmett? Is because there were days that Emmett could have not practiced.
And guess what he did?
Emmett practiced.
You know what I would love to see at the University of Nebraska? I know we're excited about the 27 recruiting class. I am too. I know we're excited about transfers that came in. I am too. What I would love to see one time in my life at the University of Nebraska, since the 90s probably, play all the guys that do everything you ask them to do. Talent be damned.
Yeah.
And just see where it gets you. Because you know what? I'm pretty sure that's what Minnesota does.
Hey, I know Sasha, I did all that soapboxing about the temperature in the room, but I am hot. That damn DP.
Classic.
Let's take a quick break here. We're going to talk to Brian Edwards here from MajorWager. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I thought they did the opposite of what we did, and that was they just really hammered the paint, and it was like they went to the basket. We both hit 5 threes today, but theirs were on 13 attempts and ours were on 22. And I just thought that there were a couple times where we took maybe some quick shots out of the flow of our rhythm of our offense from players that maybe we wasn't right in the rhythm of what we were looking for, and they got those long rebounds and turned those into paint touch points. A couple turnovers to start the first half that, we were looking to hit a roller, like not maybe staying aggressive minded, thinking score off ball screen action and then turn it over. And they were converting those turnovers, long rebounds with really aggressive attacking the paint. And that's something that I thought we maybe settled a little bit, and they continued to think attack.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Now, Vegas insider, senior handicapper, and fan of the cold Budweiser bottles, Brian Edwards.
It's got to be touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Brian Edwards.
I don't really love it.
Brian Edwards.
Were they using the cream cheese to butter the bagel?
Brian Edwards.
I'm going with the cowgirl.
Here is Brian Edwards.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Brian Edwards from MajorWager, our Vegas insider. B, what's going on, buddy?
Good morning, fellas. How are we?
I'm good. How do you like Brian actually being able to send me a DM?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you have any faith in me, or were you like?
Oh, did you get hacked?
Oh yeah. B, you were texting me the plays and information. You weren't DMing me. Or did you just get here? Remember the whole voting of the podcast?
Wasn't that a month or two ago?
Yeah.
Hey, I just got it back Saturday.
It took a while.
Yeah, all right. I didn't. Yeah, I'd forgotten about it. Okay, well, I'm glad you got it back. So it took you about as long as it took me to get it back.
Yeah. So I went. I went January 21st to whatever Saturday was.
Okay. Yeah,
February
I went
20.
It was about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about the same for me. I basically didn't have it for a good chunk of December.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as long as 5 weeks, but it was a while.
Yeah, my boss found a new avenue to talk to X, the support team, and I was getting like immediate feedback. I was floored.
Yeah, it shocked me when I got it back because it had taken weeks to get anything that was not a bot.
Yeah. I went from like 4 emails in 4 weeks to 4 emails in 4 hours. And I was like, oh my God, this is progress. And then I'm so stupid with my phone, I forgot how to log in. So I called Sasha and I was like, hey, can you help me log in? I can't figure out my phone. And I was like, well, that's stupid. She doesn't have my phone. But she logged in the last time for me and I gave her my phone. So then I had to text her back and I was like, okay, never mind. I'll figure it out. I need help, B. I'm just a regular dude. It's not very smart.
Yeah, no, I'm electronically incompetent.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of disappointed you have this whole StreamYard thing figured out, because one of the funnest things we used to do with you when we first started over here was to see whether you would unmute yourself or not.
Well, remember, I got a new laptop, so I don't have to do the headphones anymore.
I think that goes a long way. That helps out.
Okay. Yeah, that went a long way toward curing that.
Oh,
By the way, I found another game for Saturday that I liked that I didn't mention in the DM. So just
okay.
remind me that before we get out of here.
Let's talk about it since you enjoy sliding into my DMs. What's the game that you'd like to openly talk about?
Well, we'll go in reverse order because this is the new one. Okay, so I noticed Louisville plays on the road Saturday.
Wait, who?
You guys are just
what's
realizing this.
What's that? What's the L team's name again?
Louisville.
Okay.
Not Louisville or Louisville.
All right, Denny Crum.
All right. So Louisville is 3-7 straight up and 2-8 against the spread on the road. And they play at Miami, and per KenPom, they're going to be favored by 1. So, look, I've been fading Louisville on the road every chance I get. Clemson last Saturday, SMU, I think a week or so before that. They're just awful on the road. And the freshman Brown was out the other night. I don't know about his status for Saturday. They're just not the same team without him. So I'll be looking to play Miami. I don't care if they're favored by a point or two, but maybe they might be a 1-point dog if KenPom's accurate.
You know, it's interesting. Michael Brown is kind of flying under the radar because Darren Peterson gets all the heat, but Michael Brown's missed a fair amount of games too.
He has. He missed like I want to say like 6 or 7 there in late December, early January. And that's when they were really struggling.
B, I want to, before we get to the rest of the weekend, I know we were talking about not feeling the smartest earlier. How are you feeling when you're watching the end of that Florida State game last night?
Oh, yeah, I'm not feeling very smart at all. In fact, I was recapping it to my FSU buddy. So this is when I went through the play-by-play, because I literally I changed the channel when they were up 24 early second half. I had a -2. So, and then I saw the score. They were only up 4 with like 40 seconds left. So, or whatever it was, 20, 30 seconds left. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to turn this back on. Okay, here's the leads they had. 58-35 with 16:30 left. 67-58 with 6:15 left. 71-63 with 45 seconds left. 73-66 with 21 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And they win by 1 on Pitt's like Hail Mary 3. But then they put more time on the clock. So there was 1.3 seconds left for FSU to inbound and get fouled. And they throw it the length of the court. And I thought the guy was fouling him, but they didn't call anything.
That's a tough one, B.
Hey, I just want to know, be honest, how out loud or how many times did you say foul?
Yeah. It was, I was actually kind of in almost ready to go to sleep mode, and I just kind of caught on my phone that it was close again. So I don't think I yelled, but in my mind, I was screaming.
How would you have liked to have?
Where's the foul?
That was pretty good. Shane, cut that up. I felt like that was my best Kent Pavelka moment.
Where's the foul?
Did you have any action a couple of nights ago on North Carolina Clemson? Because that's
I got lucky on Carolina. I had Carolina.
Right, and they get fouled with a second left, and he makes the free throw, and it's the difference between 3.5, and it landing on 4. I was like, ooh, there's a lot of broken hearts. After Clemson misses a layup, which would have all but locked it up for the cover. How about that?
I shouldn't be bitching about the bad beat because on the FSU last night, that is, because the night before, within like 90 seconds or 2 minutes of getting that North Carolina result, I didn't have the game on TV. I'm looking at it on my phone, and I had the over on Seton Hall and Xavier, and Seton Hall makes 2 free throws with like 6 seconds left to get me within 1.5 points of the over, and then Xavier gets a layup with like 1.5 seconds left to get me the over by 0.5 point. So I got 4 very fortunate results on Carolina and the over on Seton Hall Xavier within like 2 minutes. So I shouldn't be bitching too bad about FSU last night.
That's the opposite of the no sweat cover.
Yeah, that's you work all 2 hours and change and all 40 minutes of game time you work to get that cover.
Have you dropped a new rankings on MajorWager?
I have not, but I have them in my mind.
Okay. All right. So I want to work backwards. I think I know your 1 through 4, and I'm not as interested in the order.
Right.
Give me 10 through 5.
Okay. But do I have to go? Can I go 5 through 10?
Absolutely. This is your show.
Right. I'm going to go 5. UConn.
Okay.
I'm going to go 6. Houston. I'm going to go 7. Gosh, I mean, Illinois and Iowa State are really struggling right now.
Illinois is still that high for you.
Well, I'm just saying that. No, I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm looking at Illinois and Iowa State, and I just think they're really struggling right now.
And Florida was 4 for the record, right?
What's that?
Florida was 4.
Florida's number 1.
All right, so you're going any order: Florida, Michigan, Duke, Arizona.
Florida, Arizona, Michigan, Duke. Oh God, man, dude! It's Florida 1, Arizona, Michigan, and Duke tied for 2. UConn 5, Houston 6.
Okay, all right. Give me 7 through 10. Sorry.
No, you're fine. 7 through 10. Gosh,
All right, you're haggling over Illinois.
I'm gonna go Illinois 7. God, Purdue and Michigan State, I don't have any trust for them.
B, how can Purdue be in your top 10?
They're not. I'm saying I'm just looking at the teams I'm considering right now. So where are you? Who's your 7?
So what do you –
Are you going to Gonzaga?
I like Gonzaga.
That's what I know. That's what I thought he was about to say. I thought he was about to say Gonzaga.
But I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? Because I could easily be wrong.
Well, I mean, I just think Iowa State, Michigan State, and Purdue are all there in that like 7-12 range, and they're all kind of struggling. Michigan State's struggling less, I guess. Not really struggling.
So just from Ken Palm metrics, Illinois now outside of the metrics to win a national championship. Purdue outside of the metrics to win a national championship. Those are the 2 that we're talking about that are now outside of those key numbers: top 25 defense, top 40 offense. So those are the ones. And Michigan State would be an outlier on offense. They would be in like 2014 UConn range offensively if they were to win a national championship. And Gonzaga's kind of right on that borderline as well. So I mean, after like 5 or 6 teams, it starts to get the resumes start to fall apart a little bit, at least in terms of national championship metrics.
Yeah, and so many of these teams in the top 15 we've seen bad outings from here lately.
Yeah, really.
Nebraska the other night.
Hey, wash your mouth out, young fella.
I love the Nebraska team. I love the Nebraska team.
I love them too.
Not wrong, though. That was a
Kansas the other night.
Not in your top 10, B?
Huh?
Is Nebraska in your top 10?
They're on the fringe. They're right. They're right. They're close.
Okay. All right. Don't let me listen. I know you're not going to give in to my peer pressure.
I know you want Gonzaga in there.
I'm very curious. I know what St. Mary's did on the road, but I watched that conference a ton, and St. Mary's is pretty good, and they're going to be a 7 or an 8 seed or 9 maybe, and
nobody wants
to play them. So I mean, St. Mary's is better than Missouri, but nobody will say that out loud.
What about Wisconsin?
Listen, so Wisconsin is one of the 5 locks in the Big Ten. Wisconsin is legit, Brian. Everybody can shoot. Nick, they have one of the best guards in the country. Yes. Nobody talks about. I've been hyping this dude up.
Yeah, you've been talking about Nick Boyd for a while.
For like 5 weeks, man. Yeah. People act like Nick Boyd is me out there. Like
this guy's got Final Four experience.
Man, listen, he's legit.
Yeah. Did you know what? Did you see my DM? Or I guess you did. Can you believe they're 125 to 1? I mean, if you're looking for
I saw it.
If you're looking for a pure long shot, I mean, more than 80 to 1, that's your team right there. 125 to 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the problem is going to be they just don't defend well enough.
Right.
But they are so. Yeah, I buy the 125 to 1. Like it should be high. Like they're a real long shot, but I understand the value play there as well. B, is there any other futures that you looked at? I know you're very high on Florida. Probably, I mean, if you've got them ahead of Arizona, Michigan, Duke, you're probably the highest on Florida of anyone I've talked to. Even and
yeah,
DB. I mean, and y'all know there's the homer angle. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
I've put them number one in my power rankings like 4 or 5 weeks ago, which would be unheard of at that time. But that's just my eye test. I was seeing the guards playing better, and I think if the guards are playing better, I think we win rematches against all those teams. Now, Arizona's the one where I'm not so super confident in. Arizona, so I think they're really my legit 2, but it's hard to argue against Duke being, 1 or 2.
All right, let me ask you this, B, because you're compiling data and you're putting these rankings together, and you do a really good job writing on the write-ups for MajorWager. We got into this discussion on our group chat because we got some nerdy basketball guys.
I love those guys. Shout out to those guys.
Well, Ravi, he's shouting you out.
There's a lot of them on Twitter I follow. They know their hoops, man. They really do.
Is this the one year when you look at Florida, Duke, Michigan, Arizona, where you're willing to overlook
Gonzaga? If you want to throw them in the group.
Yeah. So I want to get to that in a second.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Where you're more willing to overlook 3-point efficiency. Because those
look, with the Gators, I mean, I think
a lot in common.
I think you throw out the 3-point efficiency for the Gators all year because we were shooting lights out the last 4 games.
I mean, these teams aren't like when I think Michigan, that's not how they're going to beat you. When I think Florida, that's not how they're going to beat you. When I think Arizona, that's not how they're going to beat you. When I think Duke, that's not how they're going to beat you.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, look, Florida's been in the ranking in the 340s and the 350s out of 365 Division I teams in 3-point accuracy all year. But the last 4 games, they've shot better than 40% from 3.
So which Boogie Flan do you think you're getting? Last year's 34%er or this year's 26%er?
Well, I think we're going to get what we've seen. Like he went, how many? I think he made 5 or 6 threes when I was in Oxford 2 weeks ago.
He's on a heater.
Yeah, I mean, and Xavier Lee's on an even bigger heater. And now, Zay Brown's playing well. And then with Houck out the other night, our 9th guy who never plays, CJ Ingram, comes in. He makes his first 2 threes and has 3 assists and no turnovers. And so now I'm starting to think, or maybe we're even 9 deep. So
I honk for Florida. These top teams, man, I just don't know if you need to bring up shooting the 3, which is weird.
I know. And look, I think there's a great chance that all 4 1 seeds, assuming Florida ekes out a 1 seed over UConn, which might not happen because they do have the head-to-head on a neutral, so I would understand it, and that'd be fine. And really, whoever is the 1-2 out of Florida, UConn, they'll probably get put in the same bracket, right?
I feel like we're the only 2 people that like UConn as much as we do.
Are you talking to me or him?
I'm talking to you.
Me.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not as worried about UConn not beating the mess out of Big East teams and having close games and not covering just because I trust their coach and their tournament experience. And last year they were limping into the tournament and they controlled the Gator game for 35-plus minutes, and we had to get Walter Clayton to go off in the last 3 minutes to survive.
So, be real quick before we let you go here. Who do you like this weekend? What are you looking at? I know Michigan and Iowa was on your radar.
Okay, so I mentioned Miami going against Louisville on the road. Florida, Florida is just, we've covered 9 in a row as a single-digit favorite, and we're at Kentucky. And let's see, Ken Palm's got it at 7. I would play Florida -7. And it's got us 81 to 74. If our team total is less than 84, I'll be on Florida's team total over. So Florida and Florida's team total over. I wish we had spreads. I looked at the top 25 games, and that's about all I got. I do like Max Holloway in UFC, but he's a little expensive. Maybe put him in a parlay with Drew Dober.
Oh, to bring it. Does that put you on the plus side? No, not quite.
Dober's not heavily favored, is he?
No. I'm just wondering where the parlay gets you from a money
Right.
standpoint.
Yeah, from an odds standpoint. Let me see Dober's odds because Max is only minus 200-ish, correct? So let's see.
Yeah, so that makes Charles what? He's like plus 185, Oliveira?
Yeah, something like that. Let's see.
Is this the battle of like the shot guys? Because Dober's a dog. He's like minus 105.
Yeah, Menace, Michael Johnson's won like 3 in a row. But I think Dober's too strong for him in the clinch. Now, Dober's got more power, but Johnson's better boxer. I'm hoping Dober tries to wrestle him. Yeah, but so with those odds being pretty even, I think that would be about a plus 140, 50 parlay, I'm guessing.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick. With Oliveira and Max Holloway, the over being super juiced, it's like minus 160 for over 2.5. Are these guys just not going to be near one another? Like, why would the juice be so high on overs with guys that have been through the wars like this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're handicapping that neither one of them is going to be trying to get it. But that's not like Oliveira. Oliveira tries to get finishes all the time.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I could see under if it's nice plus money.
Yeah, it's 130 right now, buddy. All right, B.
There you
It's going to be interesting.
It'll be exciting, I hope. That's all I want. Just give me some fireworks.
Yeah, I agree.
That's Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider, Major Wager Beat. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Y'all have a great weekend, fellas.
Thanks, B.
Coming up next, we've got Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, we didn't wrestle well that day. Wrestled much better on Sunday, I think. But yeah, I think just the nature of sports, man. It's wild. That's why we do it, right? That's why you have the highs and the lows, and it's tough to control. You just got to go out and lay it on the line and getting people to believe in themselves. And yeah, Iowa wrestled well that day, and we didn't so much. And I think we've learned from that experience, and that's why we're a lot better team now than when we wrestled them that evening. So I think that's great. That's the challenge as a coach, to get your team to believe in themselves and how to overcome, some obstacles like we had that evening. And so, yeah.
With Lawrence?
Yeah.
Offensively?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done a really nice job. I keep keep telling her, she does a great job in that 9-hole rolling over to the top of the lineup, but she's doing her job, and she's had a lot of RBI. She's come up in clutch situations. The Oklahoma State game that we dropped, she did have the RBI. Of course, I forget which game it was on Sunday in Palm Springs with that grand slam that created some distance in the game, which gave us a little breathing room. She's just done a really nice job. She doesn't swing out of zone. The moment doesn't get too big for her. And I know last year after the Super Regional at Tennessee, she stopped in Coach Miller's office very shortly after the season was over and said, I want to focus on being better offensively this year. And she's really focused on that.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, again, the experience I think is huge, and for the simple fact of the more experience, like talking about the personal experience, the more the more scenarios that you get put into, the more that you learn from it. So those guys have been in live environments where they're having to see progression, work through progression, get through footwork, and the more that you see that, the more that you learn. So those guys react. The more that you're in it, they react better, and I would say that's probably the biggest benefit of those guys having experience is they've seen a lot of different things. How do I get through it? How do I adjust to it accordingly and get to the right guy? So that's one thing I've been excited to see.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by NextGen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, reminding you
a very chilly headquarters.
Yeah, it's better now that I got my jacket back on.
Let's go, Team Sash.
I'm just, we got to remind you. Maybe you're like our friend, Mike Sauter. Maybe you're hanging out with Nick down at State Basketball.
That's pretty sweet.
Maybe you need to call him up and get a little extra testosterone. I know it's a long week for those guys. Maybe they need a little energy boost. They can help you out. Whatever you need. It's 402-614-9700. NextGen Male Medical. Talk to any of our people over there. They will take terrific care of you.
Yeah, I may be big enough one day to fit this 4X.
I don't know that they got some good stuff over there. It's not magic, man. That would be.
If I flex like that, would you even remotely take me seriously?
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how many pounds you'd have to put on to fit into a 4X.
Too many, and people like Coody would shame me.
You think Coody?
Kobe's very mean-spirited.
That's the one. That's the first one you thought of. Is
Yes. I got a guy that won't shame you.
Who?
Michael Bruntz.
Oh, nice. So Bruntz is a couple of minutes early. Normally, he's just parking the vehicle.
Well, we got to.
We say 9, but we know Bruntz is probably more like a 9:06, 9:07 guy.
Yeah, he's got the drop-off duty.
Although it's nice weather. Did anybody? Well, let's just ask him. Hey, Bruntz. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. How come we can't see you? It ruins my day.
I'm not in the car. I'm still in the car.
Oh, you haven't done the old
No.
thing back in the. Okay. So what dictates?
I pulled over because I figured I didn't want to put any people in danger trying to get home. So I'm just sitting on the side of the road here.
I have a question, and I get it because minutes absolutely matter, especially in drop-offs with traffic. But what is the biggest variable in the 5 or 6 minutes leeway you need?
Well, Thursdays are a different day because one of the kids doesn't have preschool on Thursdays, so it's a drop off across town, and you guys have spent any amount of time in Lincoln, USA, but getting from like 84th and O Street to like 17th and Van Dorn, there's a lot of variables in there. It's like I drive through school zone hell on Thursdays, then that's usually the biggest variable. It's actually this is the biggest variable. So depending on which way you're going, east and west, if you get behind a school bus, you're toast. You're done. Cooked.
So you know what's interesting about how difficult it is to get any place in a hurry in Lincoln is
only one.
I can go from like, let's say 108th and Harrison to 170th and State Street, which is about as southern and still be in Omaha, not La Vista, although it's probably technically La Vista, and go to the northwest corner of Omaha before I get to Bennington. And I can do it in 22 minutes. The drive you just described from 84th and O to 17th and Van Dorn is got to be a 20-minute drive.
It's 22 minutes is what Google Maps says. Let's not pretend like the Omaha area is without fault here. Like I have gone from Gretna to actually to 170th and State frequently. The parents are out there now.
Out there.
It's like I got to pack a lunch, Damon. That's why I'm excited about that Buc-ee's going into Gretna, is I can stop for food before the final leg of that journey.
So I will say this about where your parents reside. There is no fast way to get there.
Yeah.
You either have to take 6 and come through Gretna all the way on 204th.
Through Elkhorn, the whole deal.
Or stay on 80 and whip around to like the Irvington exit. Like there's no real fast way to do it.
Finally opened State, which was because before you didn't even have that option because it was closed for a while. But it's not easy.
Well, I'm a little So, Bruntz, I'm not gonna kid you. Since I've been in my feelings all morning, kind of being a baby, I'm a little disappointed you don't say, "Hey, I'm coming to see my parents. I know you're a loser and probably need somebody to talk to. How about lunch or like?" come sit on the deck or something like that. Like
you're out there. This is even more embarrassing, Damon. I don't know where you live.
Oh, that's fine. I'm still in Omaha. Like,
okay.
Generally speaking,
I have been meaning to call because there's a place nearby you that I would like to try, food wise. That I think is where you are. So we can maybe do that.
Okay. Well, I found a new spot the other day. If I'm not at the Hurrdat Sports Bar eating bar food, I have another place that is really, really good. So, and I think it would kind of be your vibe. Like I feel like I would walk in there and see a lot of Bruntzian type style. Like the style of dress. It oozes Bruntz.
Okay. I'll text you after I'm done here to see where we're going.
Not a lot of Belichick type hoodies and zip ups in this particular establishment. I actually look too sportsy to be in there. Yeah, it's fantastic. But anyway, all right, let's carry on, my wayward son. I'd like to play a clip for you, Bruntz, from yesterday. And I know you're going to say, Damon, I was there. I know. I know.
I was, but yeah,
I know. I know. You hit me with that last week, and I was like, "Damn, that Bruntz, he always gets me." But I feel like context matters here for a little bit, just given the tenor in the room. Shane, play from Calandria, where it's clip 2, where he's talking about Coach Holgorsen.
Okay, let me get to the page.
Okay, I'm gonna let you get to the Calandria page. It says COL clip 2.
Yeah, I felt like Coach Hogue's done a lot of good things when he was at Houston, when he was back at Texas Tech, and it's super cool that I could fit his offense and do some cool things in it.
Bruntz, when you say, I'm asking you this because I had a meltdown, about 7 of them, when people would say, I just want to see Coach Holgorsen's offense. This isn't Coach Holgorsen's offense. Remember that whole soliloquy and song and dance? When you hear Calandria say that, what offense do you think he's talking about?
I think he's probably talking more about the quarterback run stuff that they were doing at Houston. Everybody thinks air raid, right? Like not everybody, but I think that's where the mind goes. When was the last year that Dana Holgorsen was truly an air raid? There's principles, I guess, but like when was the last time he was actually that? Like 20, like Oklahoma State? Like are we going that far back?
Maybe Whedon.
I was saying, I don't think since he's been a head coach, he would be described
maybe
as
Whedon.
Yeah.
Because West Virginia, it wasn't even that.
No.
Like that was not it by a mile. Houston, I don't think that's what it was either. I think that's kind of the big question though too, right? Like when was it that he said, we'll sit down in January and February and kind of map out what this is going to look like once we know who we have? Like that's kind of what I'm eager to see. What changes you make based on the quarterback personnel that you have, because it's obviously, Latif was here last year, but the room overall was a lot different. I think it was interesting with Calandria yesterday too, where he was talking about the changes that Dan Mullen made to his game, and throw to the open receiver. Like it doesn't need to be overly complicated, but I am eager to kind of see what this mashup of styles and what they're trying to do with the run game, especially with the addition of Jeep Wade and his ideas, and how that all kind of mixes together. I think there's going to be pieces of last year's offense that stay. It's always going to be more of a pro style run game with the backs, but what they choose to do with the quarterback and having more of a mobile quarterback and more across the board mobile quarterbacks will be kind of fascinating. But I don't know. I think he said it. I read it. I hear it. I don't know that we really know yet what the 2026 offense for Nebraska is going to look like. So in spite of, but it's not. You're not doing the. You're not doing the air raid stuff. I think people just need the fact that with the mobile quarterback, it's going to look a lot different.
So I asked a lot of the guys, probably at least 10, and they're all on the defensive side, and they're not defensive linemen. Does it surprise you that one of the things that they talk about in terms of differences from this year to last year is offensive pace and accuracy? Like QB accuracy and like how fast the plays are coming. Does that surprise you a little bit, or is that track with what you think the quarterback room looks like?
I missed the first part of the question. Sorry, my AirPods died.
That's okay. So I was talking to a couple of guys. So it's like 10 or more. I'm just trying to get a good sample size. So no D linemen. I was asking them about the difference between this year's spring and last year's spring from an offensive standpoint, and they said how quickly the offense is in terms of their decision making and quarterback accuracy. Does that vibe with you in terms of how you look at the quarterback room?
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I don't know if there's a right answer. I just want to know, like, if you think about it, does that jive?
How long are the passes that they're being accurate on?
Oh, I don't want to be that guy, because then they don't just talk to me like a regular person.
No, I'm wondering. I think that's when you kind of look at where Nebraska can be better. I think if you're more accurate on the deep stuff. That interests me.
So I only ask because Ravi gets so mad. Like one of the things that he hated about watching the offense when he would think about Coach Holgorsen and it frustrates him, and he would easily pick a fight, is he hates when the ball doesn't come out, right? Like he doesn't like how long plays take and stuff like that. Do you think he's in the minority? Am I putting words in your mouth?
No, not at all. That's accurate. Like, so the way I described it was, because DB asked the question about, well, what do you want when you say you want a Dana Holgorsen offense? And I said, I want the ball to get out quickly to guys that are open in space. That's kind of the through line to me of all the different things that he's done. And that is not a thing that happened at all, really, with the exception of maybe a couple games over the last 2 years. So that was the impetus for that, was just like, hey, get the ball out quickly. Somebody is open. That's literally what I do.
And I thought it was interesting, and I certainly don't want to validate Ravi, but I thought it was interesting that was just impromptu, a couple of the things that the guys talked about almost in unison.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't disagree too much with Ravi on that. I think a little more decisiveness and I think Nebraska's got the athletes, especially on the outside, to to do some things. So yeah, I wouldn't hate a little bit more decisiveness with some accuracy and letting guys, actually make plays. I mean, there wasn't enough of that last year at all. And not. They found some things, I guess, with Hunter, but there just wasn't like a diversity of plays even. Like it felt very predictable about the types of plays where the ball was coming out quickly. You know what I mean? Like you could almost call it before the snap what was going to be happening. So I'd go along with you, Ravi. I don't hate that.
You know what it kind of felt like in a very different way, but it reminded me, you talked about it with the diversity of plays there, is we knew if Isaiah Hunter was going to get the ball in space, it was going to be the one play, right? Like that was basically just where it, it reminded me a little bit of 2 years ago when Heinrich Harburg takes over at quarterback and if there's going to be a pass downfield, it's going to be that fake option. And then we're going to throw a pat. Like it was like, this is our one thing that we can do. The problem is all the pieces that were executing it should have been better at that point. So it was super frustrating. Like you understood why the one option to throw downfield was the Harburg fake option pass. That made sense. It did not make any sense why the only thing the 5-star quarterback and the talented wide receiver room could do to get the ball out quickly and get playmakers into space was this one very specific type of wide receiver screen to Isaiah Hunter. You're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, no, that's all fair. I mean, we saw it. I mean, we saw it last year. I mean, I think that's, and I think too. I mean, the wide receiver room's going to be pretty good this year. I mean, I think there's the potential to have a little bit more in there with the group of guys you have and the depth that you have at that spot. So, I mean, if the timing is better, if the accuracy is better, I mean, I think that all kind of adds up to allowing guys to do more with the ball in their hands if they're in space.
And here's kind of a little bit of like the dirty little secret I feel like about getting the ball out quickly is,
hey, it's a secret.
One of the other things that we haven't really seen from this offense is any sort of tempo. You know what's really hard to do is run tempo when you're not completing passes. Right? Like it's really hard to run any kind of pace when you're not completing passes. And so like when Anthony Calandria just throw it to the open guy. Like I think sometimes
you just want him to be able to play catch.
Yes. I because I think sometimes, you know how we would get frustrated with previous offensive coordinators, whether it's Satterfield or anybody else, who are like, hey, that was a good play, but in the course of 8 plays, it didn't, like the sequencing didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I felt like we ran into that, and I don't know if it was a Dylan thing or a Dana thing or whatever last year, where you would be like, oh, that's a nice play, and then what happened the next 3? And then like, oh, that play's okay. And it felt very much like if they don't score on one play or get a huge chunk on one play, then there is no scoring drive. There was no building of the sequence. And I think a lot of that goes back to really hard to do that when you're not just completing passes at a super high rate.
Yeah, well, and it felt, I mean, Dana said this too. I mean, they really kind of had to shift course mid-season based on what they could do and what kind of team they were, and based on personnel and what guys could handle, what they could block and not block. And I mean, even the quick stuff too. I mean, that helps your offensive line. I mean, even if you're not running tempo every possession, I mean, even if you're, completing some passes early on, I mean, that's there's like a mental thing there too of like, okay, well, we got some throws. We we're able to kind of get things rolling a little bit on a possession. Whereas, at times it felt just very clunky and disjointed, especially, the kind of the middle sections of games. It just felt like you were kind of grasping at about anything later in the year.
Shane, do me a favor. Go to Coach Barthel, his clips, and play. And Bruntz, I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume you're at the presser. Play clip 12, Shane, from Coach Barthel.
I'm familiar with the NFL run game. And so, my whole background is 21, 12, 11, duo, power, counter, outside zone, tight zone. So even in recruiting, when we recruit running backs here, like we're preparing them for the NFL. So, like, we're not a scheme run game. We are an NFL run game. And in the sense that we're going to implement all those runs throughout the spring. So those guys will be taught the read keys for all those runs. So, I mean, counter is something that we've been doing here for a long time. So there's not going to be anything skipped there. Like, the kids will be dialed in how to read it and how to have familiarity with how to run it.
So we heard Coach Rule talk early in the offseason about how he wanted to kind of revamp the running game, and Ravi's been on this big, and this is kind of a Ravi Bruntz segment since you guys are both Millard North guys, so I keep referring to things that he said, but he's very inquisitive about counter and what it looks like and Rule wanting to implement it. Are there things that you wanted to see in the run game, and I'll use counter as an example, where you felt like could have really helped this offense, in particular in either short yardage or when Nebraska kind of had to salt clock? Have you allowed yourself to envision what run game really looks like with whomever's playing quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, I think just the fact that you have a mobile quarterback that you have to account for. And I know TJ Lateef was your guy, late in the season, but he was injured. I mean, let's not forget that. But I mean, having somebody that you at least have to account for as a runner, I think is going to help Nebraska significantly this season. Like, I think that's what. Go ahead.
I only ask because Emmett gets so much credit for being Emmett, independent of outside of either the coaching or the development or the offensive line. I just don't know if we've allowed ourselves to picture running game without it being about an individual. Is that fair? Does it seem like that? Like, Emmett just gets credit for Emmett.
For everything.
Right? Is that kind of it? Is it like that on your board in your sphere too, Bruntz? Because the running game it's going to be different because we don't have Emmett. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I see the discussion.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm not as concerned about the running stuff, the running back picture. Like, I think with Mekhi Nelson showed some things in the bowl game that you're kind of like, okay, I can see it. I think if Nebraska's a little bit better up front, I think if you have a little bit different approach to run schemes, you have a mobile quarterback, that's going to just look different, I think, than what it has for the last couple of years. Like, I just think the addition of a Calandria or a healthy TJ Lateef or Daniel Kaelin's even more mobile than what Dylan was. I mean, I think that's going to make a big difference just in terms of what you have to account for as a defense. I mean, the last couple of years, it wasn't even something that you had to really think about. Even go back to the UCLA game 2 years ago. I mean, that was why that was so almost like mind blowing when Dylan started pulling those and keeping the reads. I mean, that was, I think kind of shows you what defenses are having to be concerned about from the running game at the quarterback spot. So, I mean, I am eager to see what it looks like. I do think that, Jeep Wade's input with kind of how they did things.
Did we lose him?
I hope not.
Yeah, we lost him.
All right. Get Brett where I said. Wait a minute. We're just going to break?
I'm still here.
Oh, yeah, Shane.
Don't play me off. Don't play me off.
Don't try to play me out. Don't try to play me out.
My speech is not done. I'm still thanking people.
Oh,
but I do think it'll look different, and I think that's, Emmett does get a lot of credit for what he did, and deservedly so. But I do think they've got some guys that they can do some things with back there.
Thanks, Bruntz. I feel complete now. Way to slap Shane's wrist, because Lord knows our next guest is not going to do anything but be kind to him. Sometimes you got to slap the little guy's wrist.
Yeah.
Bruntz,
appreciate you, Bruntz.
Appreciate the time as always, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.
That is Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Coming up next,
Take them apples, Shane. How you like that?
Jessica Coody.
I like apples.
Husker Radio Network. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I thought they did the opposite of what we did, and that was they just really hammered the paint, and it was like they went to the basket. We both hit 5 threes today, but theirs were on 13 attempts and ours were on 22. And I just thought that there were a couple times where we took maybe some quick shots out of the flow of our rhythm of our offense from players that maybe we wasn't right in the rhythm of what we were looking for, and they got those long rebounds and turned those into paint touch points. A couple turnovers to start the first half that, we were looking to hit a roller, like not maybe staying aggressive minded, thinking score off ball screen action and then turn it over. And they were converting those turnovers, long rebounds with really aggressive attacking the paint. And that's something that I thought we maybe settled a little bit, and they continued to think attack.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, there was a couple ups and there was a couple downs, but at the end of the day, I feel like I matured as a player of not letting one bad play affect the next play. The biggest thing is, when you know, right? Like, I went on other visits, and when I came here, it just felt right, and I just knew it was home.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We are joined now by Jessica Coody from the Husker Radio Network. Jess, how are we doing this morning?
Good morning. How's it going?
We're good.
Apparently, I've got a bone to pick with DB this morning.
Uh-oh.
One of your guys' regulars came on our chat on Sports Nightly and tattled, said that Damon was not being very nice to Shane this week.
Who told on me? I'm always nice to Shane.
I don't know. So Dank Coyote.
Oh. Wait, so Dank is in your chat too? He's hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, so he said that you haven't been very kind. He said, I just wanted to let you know, Jess. And I said, well, funny thing is I'm going on their show on Thursday. So I'll make sure and remind everybody that Shane is a gym, that Shane is the backbone of the show, and Shane is the real MVP. So, Shane, hopefully you can cut all that up and use it, drop it where you need to.
Oh, God. I can't believe Dank sold me. Like, he's just telling. And why would you go run and tell Jess?
I don't even remember you being that mean to him this week.
He just was being Dank. That's fine.
It is funny, though, because I was talking with Kyle, and he said he went on, I guess, at 8.
Uh-huh.
And he was asking when I was going on, I was like, 9:30. He goes, how did you get a 9:30 slot? And I was like, he was like, I had to go on at 8. And I said, did Shane not give you an option? He said, no. He said 8 o'clock. And I said, you got to be nice to Shane.
So here's the deal. And we know Kyle, right? So when I saw 8.
Oh, he was not happy about 8.
I had to blow it up, right? I was like, is this a typo?
Perhaps the dagger.
Like, why would Kyle agree to 8? That is not his thing. And
yeah, he was complaining about it the night we were leaving the studio after Sports Nightly. I got to go on DB's show at 8 in the morning.
Oh, and he's not afraid to put it out there either. So it was like, and he was saying something the other day, and I go, people have no idea how honest you're being. Like, he was not tickled to be doing 8 o'clock.
Nope. He's not joking.
Oh, fudge. So, like, where do we start? First of all, we're on the heels of Indiana and Nebraska yesterday, and I'll get to the Jackrabbits coming to town today. By the way, are you going to bowling?
I might run out there. Yeah.
It's nice.
Oh, that's supposed to be nice today. Good day for it.
Okay, so I want to go back to yesterday. Are you officially nervous that they don't get any bid stealers, or how are you looking at this?
Yeah, I mean, they're right smack dab on the bubble, and had they won yesterday, I think everyone felt like internally that they would be in, and felt pretty good about that with one more win. And so now you're kind of sitting there, and what's kind of stinks about with the women is that there's a week longer to wait because you have the whole week next week. So now you're kind of sitting on pins and needles, and you're watching how this weekend plays out, and it's out of your hands at this point. But they've got a lot of the good kind of points on your resume that the committee looks at, the net ranking, the strength of schedule, the wins above bubble, which is a new metric that they've added over the last couple of years. Nebraska is very good in that regard. But I just don't know how they're not going to be able to look at, the stretch of the last few games and then giving up a 20-point lead here in their last time out. And if it comes down to when you're comparing a couple teams. So the good news is the Big Ten is tough, and they've got a lot of good teams. And look, they are very strategic with how they build their schedule for this very reason. So hopefully they've done enough. But yeah, it's a little sickening kind of watching that lead squander and knowing what was on the line, and your one win of feeling pretty secure going into this week. So, but hopefully they've done enough, and we'll just wait and see how this weekend plays out. And hopefully everybody that's supposed to win wins.
I know it's going to be hard to quantify, man, but do you feel like how they lost impacts how we feel?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And look, Indiana, I know everybody wants to maybe knock a little bit, and look, there's no excuses because you have that big of a lead, and you should find a way to win some of those, because that's I guess maybe a lot of the issue too. Like you go back to Oregon, right? And they had a 13 point lead in the fourth quarter, and they lose that lead. And then if that win happens, then you still have another win that maybe we're not having this conversation, and you've won 3 in a row going into the tournament. And so they've had, it's kind of been a little bit of a bugaboo where they've been able to build leads and then not hold on to them. But, Matt Coody came on Sports Nightly going into it, and he made no bones about it that Indiana, outside of UCLA, was probably playing better than anybody. They had won 6 of their last 8. They had some injuries. They got hot. They just could be a dangerous team that could score in bunches while they didn't necessarily defend that well, which we saw in the first half. They made the adjustments in the second half, and that's kind of what they're capable of. And, we heard Gresh saying it on the network yesterday just about that's kind of been the series between these two teams. They're so dynamic offensively that they have the capabilities of going on big runs. And unfortunately, it was not in Nebraska's favor in the second half yesterday. So yeah, I think it was a little bit made it even worse because you're sitting there like, I'm making plans for today thinking we're playing women's basketball today, planning Sports Nightly, because we're going to put softball on the air tonight in place of Sports Nightly, but we were not going to be able to do that if women's basketball was playing. And so I'm sitting here making plans. What do we got to do to make sure we're kind of checking all the boxes we got to check? And then I'm sitting there like, wait, what? We lost? I'm confused. But yeah, it was pretty devastating. But again, you just got to kind of sit and hope now that you've done enough. And as Amy Williams said in her post game, hopefully it's the NCAA tournament, but this team will play in a postseason tournament no matter what. And I think if it's not the NCAA tournament, you'll probably see some games in Lincoln, would be my guess.
All right, Jess, from a long wait for Nebraska women's basketball to a very short wait, just a couple days for Nebraska wrestling. They are on their way to the Big Ten tournament here in just a couple days. What are some of the things? Obviously, Nebraska's got a couple, at least in the preceding, a couple top-ranked guys in their classes, but obviously a bunch of guys towards the top in the first few as well. What are some of the things you're looking at most as you're kind of preparing yourself for the wrestling tournament?
Well, I think Nebraska is finally fully healthy. I think they've kind of been battling that throughout the entire season. They've challenged themselves. We heard Coach Manning kind of talking about that really throughout the season that they've kind of wrestled some of the top people from the start. They're a veteran group, and he's known for this of getting guys right and peaking at the right time. And so, he's got a lot of guys that he's going to run out there in this tournament that know what it takes to kind of make a run, not just in the Big Ten tournament, but the NCAA tournament as well. And so hopefully, they're feeling pretty good and healthy. And yeah, they're tap into kind of that experience for those guys that have been there. And I think they're feeling pretty good, prepared. And I just think you've got a lot of guys that have been here, done that, know what it takes this time of year.
So, all the hand wringing and consternation, and Coach Manning spoke to it yesterday. Are you a fan of, do you want a human element in terms of like how to seed and with the Big Ten? I mean, Shane Sparks was basically having a meltdown. They talked to Caleb Sanderson and he's livid, and I get it because it directly affects, the 133-pound weight division. Like, what do you think about when it comes to how they seed this thing?
I kind of took it that Shane Sparks was for it. Now, I think most people will say it needs some tweaks, right? But the coaches voted on it going into it, and it's a pre-seeding deal, so it might not even be exactly what these seedings are, because the coaches will go in and they can vote on it if you're within 15 points on Friday. So even Coach Manning said at that, I think the biggest uproar is at 174, being that Levi Haynes beat Christopher Minto. Christopher Minto got that number 1 seed. So he even said he thought that would probably flip, that Minto might move to the 2 and Haynes might move back up to the 1. That Minto actually ended up getting that number 1 seed there, probably because Haynes wrestled more people's backups. And so he was punished for that. And I think the system was built so that people would wrestle their schedule, right? And so you don't have guys that are just sitting out the entire Big Ten season, and then because they were a national champion last year, getting a number 1 overall seed in a Big Ten tournament. So I think it's designed to be able to challenge teams to wrestle your schedule, to not sit out, and I think that's why you saw AJ Ferrari fall in his seeding, because he missed several Big Ten duels, or right there in the beginning of the season when he was kind of getting back healthy. So look, there, it's the first kind of year for it. It's the pre-seeding, and they'll tweak it. And I know that there's some controversy. They'll talk about it on Friday, but it's not exactly what we see. I know that you have to be within 15 points, but if the coaches don't like it, they'll talk about it, and I'm sure there will be some tweaks to it. But I think it was the design of it had good intentions to make sure that people were not just kind of coasting and then getting rewarded for that. And so that you were getting rewarded for being challenged. And that's what Coach Manning was alluding to yesterday, that, hey, we wrestled Oklahoma State twice. We wrestled Ohio State twice. And so our guys should be rewarded for that. So I kind of took it as, Coach Manning wasn't really saying anything controversial about it, because he's like, hey, we voted on that. We'll revisit about it on Friday when we all meet. And I'm sure there will be some tweaks, but some of our guys got rewarded because of what our RPI was and our strength of schedule. And so I think that was what the design was, but it was the first year, and anytime there's a first year, you're going to need some tweaks.
Jeez. Wrestling aficionado.
Going deep.
That was a little. Okay, Jess. All right. Okay. So speaking of we're just going to continue to show off your range, right? So we hit softball. You go elbows deep into wrestling. How about the new baby on campus with flag football? You get Liz and Katie to come over, highly accomplished, like hiring quality coaches with football expertise. You got them on the show, or you got Liz on the show. Like, what are you thinking? I mean, you're all about the bringing to light women's sports. Nebraska's going to be right there on the heels of it. Maybe we get to do some broadcasts together. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm impressed. Really, really impressed. And Kyle and I were talking about this last night. Look, Nebraska was the first, but you're going to see more Power 4 programs add flag football. It's just where it's at. There's still a Title IX element to college athletics. And so as you continue to make sure that there are equal scholarship opportunities, it's been championed by the NCAA, by the NFL, and it's one of the fastest growing women's sports in the world. And while maybe in the Midwest, we haven't seen it as much on the coasts, it's huge. I did some freelance work last summer, and the number one softball recruit in the country that went to Oklahoma last year was a stud linebacker for her high school flag football team, won a state title in flag football. I mean, it was huge at her high school. And, she played like linebacker and wide receiver on her 7-on-7 team, flag football team. So it's a really fast growing sport, and you're going to see more schools add this sport. And so I think with Nebraska being on the forefront of it, they had a chance to get the pick of the pick. And I think this is probably the premier coach in flag football, Liz Sowers. And it was just fascinating talking to her. She's going to get the best of the best recruits, and she's already started that process. And I think what's great about her is she's very passionate about growing the sport. But if you don't think for a second she's here to win, you are vastly mistaken. I mean, you want to talk about a competitor. And so I think that's where, you talk about, hey, we're championing, hey, we're adding a women's sport, but no, we're not just adding a women's sport. We're adding a women's sport that's going to be here to win, and so I think that's what's kind of really fun and refreshing about what she's bringing to the table.
Hey, who was more intense, like during the interview? Like Coach Yelk, that drops. I was waiting on that baby just to talk about.
Yeah, I had to send you a sneak peek because you would not stop bugging me about it.
It was sensational, right? So, like, you go from Liz to TY. Like, what was that like? Because it seemed intense just listening to it. Like, he's very dialed.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of times I will have met these coaches before, like you sit down, and that was my first just, hey, I'm Jessica, nice to meet you, and so didn't really have much chit chat before we kind of sat down. And so, you could tell right away and heard about it. It was funny because you keep hearing that about a lot of these guys. Oh, they're about ball. And even, Haven, who was at practice the other day when you walked up and we were talking about Coach Yelk, he's like, man, you want to talk about a guy that's about ball, so it's like the first thing you hear about Coach Yelk is like, that's a guy that's about ball. And, I think you immediately kind of understand that when you start to hear the interview. And so it was pretty fascinating. And again, another winner. I think he's a guy that's won everywhere he's been, whether it's a player at every level that he's been a coach. He's won a Super Bowl. And so I love his approach. And I think you're excited about this too. You'd be more versed to talk about this too. Now that it's out, you can kind of spill the beans, but I think I really like his approach to how he's going to coach the safeties and being more of the quarterback back there and making sure guys are aligned. And you have to be the vocal leader of the defense back there. You have to be in alignment with everybody. And I liked his what he had to say about that. And I think he likes the room, and he's got some guys that are going to be able to handle what his expectations are. And he's got some high expectations. That's for sure.
Jess, this might be a weird question, so hang in there with me. So we keep hearing this like, hey, they're about ball, they're about ball, they're about ball. And I don't mean this sarcastically at all. You've been around a bunch of different coaches at this program. You've been around different coaches at other programs and in other sports in your other previous stops. Like, what's the alternative? Like, when you see guys that you wouldn't necessarily peg as being all about ball, is it like they're about recruiting? Like, what's the alternative, I guess?
Yeah, I think there can be some other things too, right? It seems like there's so many elements to making a successful football program these days, right? And maybe you have a tendency to get away from ultimately what it is about, which is about ball, and I think that's what these guys are very, very good at. And they understand that, yeah, there are other elements to it, but I also just think that they just are, I don't know, just they want to just talk about it, and I guess it's also just in the way that they talk about it too. Maybe more so a better explanation when you talk about, oh, they're about ball. It's even just their answers about when they're talking about it, and you can feel a different appreciation and passion for their craft and how they teach it than other coaches, if that makes sense. And I think that's where I'm kind of feeling the difference in some of these coaches is just their intense passion about making sure that they are implementing the fundamentals and the techniques and all the things that at the bottom line that build up a good football player that they are very, very deeply passionate about. So I think just maybe that would, and not that anything is one way or the other is not wrong or more right, it just, I think that's where a lot of these guys maybe lean more towards than maybe some of the others that I've been around.
Yeah. When, Ravi, we've used the term with her disarming, right? With the interviews. When you say to me, like, it's intense, it's a feel thing for you, as many people as you've interviewed across a multitude of sports. So let me ask you this, between Coach Orich with, he's just an old school ball coach. Corey Brown was super intense. You're very familiar with Coach Manning and his style.
Yeah.
And then you listen to Coach Yelk. It has to be intentional that he's guys in the building. They aren't about seemingly a lot of other things other than just coaching ball, right? Like, it seems to be a common intensity to teach and develop.
Yeah. And I think that's ultimately that is number one, and nothing else really matters at this point with this group and especially with the defense and installing this defense right now, because I do think there is an element to when you're talking about recruiting and making sure, hey, we got to do this and this and this. And I don't know, it just seems like at the core of what it is right now it is all about these players, and it is all about making sure we are getting what we need to get done in this short amount of time to make sure we are where we need to be to get this defense where it needs to be. And it just, it's you can definitely feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it when you go to practice. You can feel it around the building. You can feel it when you talk to these guys. And I'm hoping that you continue to see it come to fruition when you see them take the field. And I know people are probably tired of hearing the hype machine, but I mean, I do think that what is being instilled works. I think you've seen a lot of the proof in the pudding, and I think the guys that they brought in. I'm a big fan of Corey Brown too. That I was able to sit down one-on-one with him. I didn't realize he was on the defensive that basically helped launch Eric Crouch's career.
Yeah.
So
that's the truck stick game.
Yeah. So I just think a lot of these guys are, getting back to like just the core of what needs to be done right now. And then when they need to move to the next season of things, when they do need to move to the raw recruiting part of it, they will. But I think just right now, you can definitely feel a little bit of a different kind of attack to making sure we're, instilling, growing, developing all the things that need to be done during this time.
Just so I'm fascinated by Corey Brown because I think that's obviously a critical room in the one that he's leading with the defensive line. And so when you're talking to him and kind of learning about his background a little bit, like what are some of the things you think drew Coach Rule to Corey Brown?
Mm.
Well, I think he's another one of those kind of like old school line coaches. I think what he does works with different defenses. While there's familiarity with what Rob Orich does in the system because they've crossed paths, I think you've seen what he does with the defensive line. It translates to other defenses. And another guy that you've seen it, the numbers. If you look at the stats, his defensive lines produce. And so I think just watch him coach. It is, you want to talk about details. And I think Going back to when I talked to Susan Elza for the National Girls and Women's Sports Day, she had mentioned that, and then going out to practice and seeing it. And then I chatted with Riley Van Poppel, and he mentioned that, and he also talked about just the importance of the edges and the tackles are now separate and the rooms are smaller, and so just being able to kind of hone in and I just think really develop. So I think Corey Brown, being where he's been, he's had to develop, right? And so I think, look, that's Coach Rule to a T. He's had to develop everywhere he's been. I think he's just an old school, old-minded, like the physicality type. That's where it's won in the trenches type of mindset. That's Coach Rule, that kind of thing. I think he's a grinder. And so I don't know if there's 3 more characteristics that are more to a T of what Coach Rule likes in his football coaches than what Corey Brown, exudes in his coaching so far from what I've seen and what I've in my conversations with him. Would you agree, DB?
Oh yeah. And I can't wait, because you know how those guys, you get so close to them during game times and stuff, where you help me get a temperament of what they're actually saying on the sidelines. I bet Corey Brown would be fantastic on a dry erase board. But so just, for like adjustments and stuff. So but to that point, Jess, with like Coach Orich and him having to work with Coach Dvorak and the edges now being separate from the DT room, do you think we'll see similar dividends with Coach Wade and Coach Teasley in that offensive line room, how they're kind of breaking it down too with just true teaching? Because we watched Coach Wade at the bowl game, and I mean, energy is one thing. How he teaches and instructs his drills technically is another. Like, you think we see the benefit of the tandem in the O-line room too?
I absolutely do. And you think about it, DB, again, going back to when Coach Rule got here, and the numbers were not where they needed to be in that offensive line room. And that was nothing against Donovan Raiola. That's what he took over. And again, it just takes time. It takes time to build a productive offensive line unit. And now you can supplement with the portal, but you have to build within. Not only do you build a productive offensive line that's good on Saturdays, you have to build the depth. And it just takes time. And I think they finally have the numbers that you really need to have. And you've got you've got some really good young talent that you're really excited about that just need to be developed. But then you've also got some really great experienced guys that you've had in the program, but then also that you're adding from the portal. And so I think just being able to split and have multiple guys that speak the same language, that are marching to the same beat of the same drum, that know what they want to accomplish with each practice, but they also understand the importance of the development and getting the time to develop those individual guys. Again, that development word is another word that keeps coming up with a lot of these guys, but being able to split those guys up and getting more eyeballs, more hands on some of these guys and the younger guys. I think, and if you go out to a practice even during the season and you've got 2 different things going on where you're trying to prep a defense and an offense. And so if you've got the second team offensive line that are on the scout team, and then you've got the ones trying to get prepared, wouldn't you rather have, basically both sides getting coached up by the same 2 guys? So Teasley and Wade will probably both be able to kind of really make sure that everything's getting done with those groups that you want to get done. So I think it's super beneficial, and they are so in lockstep, and that I think it will be such a good thing for this offensive line group. And I think we're already starting to see it. I'm really excited about that group. You can talk about huge. They are massive.
So I've kind of been saying that, and people just eye roll. I get it. It's the off season, and
the players are saying it too.
Nobody wants to hear it, but that is when Puma is like the young big pup, and he's still maybe as big as he is compared to the other guys, you have a big offensive line.
I think he's taller than Pritchett. And
Yeah.
Pritchett was like towering over everybody else. And so you've added, that size. You've added like 2 or 3 more guys that have the size of Pritchett, that it just like, oh my gosh, this line is massive,
How about Mubanga's athleticism for his size?
I think Puma's athletic too. I mean,
Yeah,
I think you've got athleticism, which we also heard Coach Holgerson talk about, probably more athletic now, but you have the size and athleticism. I cannot wait to see what that offensive line, how they kind of mold those guys. And you have to remember, still don't even have Gunnar Gatula. Kyle and I were talking about this last night too, when we were talking about some of the kind of competitions and where the most heated competitions might be and what we thought maybe going into it. It might be different now. Like, I think running back might be more competitive just in terms of who all, like, the numbers now that are competing, as opposed to maybe we were just looking at 2. Now I think there's 4 guys that are absolutely saying, no, I'm here to compete, that we keep hearing about. But I think, I mean, look, Gunnar Gatula, he's not going to give up that spot, at right tackle. So when he gets back out there, and that's what you want. You want to see those battles at all those spots. That's what makes a better football team. DB, how about when Mosey scored that touchdown and he waved at you when he got into the end zone?
I hadn't
Did you tell that story?
I told him off air.
You told me.
I said one of the reasons, and for you guys, what she's talking about is we were out at practice and Mosey ripped off a really long run, and there's just the 2 of us kind of in the end zone when he was coming towards us, and he gave me the smile wave. It was an absolute classic. And you got a chance to, like, we interview him all the time, at the bowl game and stuff. How cool is that to see him kind of come into his own personality too? Like, he's an easy guy to cheer for, but that run was pretty sweet.
Yeah, we saw it because I think it was like, at the 50-yard line, I said goodbye and he was gone. But I think because he's a coach's kid, he's so buttoned up. I think Caleb is this way too. They know that they are watched how they should act and they speak so well, but then when you start to loosen up, when you pull back the layers, you start to see the personality. And they're really fun, and I think Mosey's that way, and Caleb certainly getting to see his personality too. So I talked to Makai yesterday and he's put on some muscle.
I know I'm afraid to compliment him because I did last year and he challenged me, but he's got that the bigger legs, the broad chest. Like, he looks. How about EJ talking about his leadership off the field in terms of getting the guys together? Like, did you ever think that was going to be a thing?
I think he realized, again, because of what the culture is, right? And what it takes to be the guy. And he's seen it done now, not just with Emmett, but at other positions, and knows that it's important for him not to just score touchdowns, for him to actually be the guy and for them to trust him in a lot of ways. He's got to challenge himself and the other areas off the field too. And he wants it. Look, I think more than anything, if you don't think Makai Nelson wants to be the guy, that right there shows it, more than what he's doing on the football field. It's the way he's challenging himself off the field, I think is proving how bad he wants it.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's Jessica Coody, Husker Radio.
Wait, I got a trivia. I know you guys like trivia questions.
Oh, what do we got?
I found this on TikTok. I thought you guys would like this.
Oh,
Can you name the 4 Division I colleges whose school name is also a color?
Brown.
Yeah.
What about what about the Blue Hens?
Well, no, it's the name of the college.
The name of the college.
What's the one that is? It's a purple hue.
Oh, Sienna.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good call. Good call. Brown.
I'll give you the hint I gave.
What about Navy?
Navy counts. Navy's got to count.
Yeah, I was going to say the hint I gave Camden last night was classic football game at the end of the year.
Okay,
yeah,
yep.
Navy has to count. Okay, so we've got.
And the last one's the most obvious that you're missing.
Is it?
Yeah. The biggest school, biggest name, the biggest conference.
Auburn.
Auburn, yeah.
Auburn.
Nicely done.
Hey, so is this where you get all your jokes? Like, I've got to start getting on your TikTok algorithm so I can prepare for all your setups.
Yeah.
I think you get
that you're not surprised.
That's fine. There's a request. I don't want to speak for you, but I did say yes. If when it slows down, can we get you and Kyle in studio?
Probably.
Kyle would be tougher. He's like, I fly out of Omaha. I'm not coming to hang out. But you'd come. You could hold court. We could just turn the show over to you.
Yeah, I'll tell Kyle that you guys suggested that. I'll let you know what he says.
And you get to see, you get to see our little turd burglar friend Shane.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Wow.
I noticed, I guess Rico's gone because I don't have any decoration around my.
Yeah, he was
in Indianapolis.
He was at Greenbridge. Yeah. We'll get him back.
All right, just next time.
I fully expected to see some clovers around my screen.
Well, we got a couple weeks still. We got a couple weeks till St. Patty's Day. Next time, since you gave us trivia, I might make you do some blind rankings.
Okay.
You'd be like to do.
She's good. Yeah, she likes those kind of games.
We'll do some blind rankings for you next time.
What would be hard for you to rank, Jessica? Like veggies you like, types of fish, teams like.
I guess probably because I don't really eat a lot of meat. So.
So we can't do like breakfast.
We can't do like steakhouses, probably.
We could do Jess's favorite cuts of meat. That would be.
She'd be like none, and none. All right, we'll work on it.
We'll figure something out for you.
All right, bye guys.
See you later.
Oh, Shane didn't get the bye today. Wow.
Yes.
There we go. I'm gonna try.
You need to be nicer to Shane.
Nah.
All right, have a good day. Bye, Shane.
Oh boy.
That's the show.
Bye, Shane.
That's the show for today. That's DB.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't forget, make sure if you got any games to watch, you need to get a meal for the whole family. Make sure you get out to Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah, they got specials on Thursday too, so I should probably know what it is off the top of my head. I asked Sasha yesterday, and I said, "How would you know?" Well, because they just sent me a message. So today it's It's an 8-inch one-topping pizza and 16-ounce rotating draft for just $9. So how about that?
Listen, 2 weeks from today.
How about them apples, Sasha? I had it memorized.
2 weeks from today, the team will be out there watching the opening week of the NCAA men's basketball tournament as well. Make sure you get out there and come hang out with us as well. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. We'll be back tomorrow on Hurrdat Sports Live.